Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah, amma ba'd, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Guys, welcome back to another episode of The Cave podcast. So we have some very interesting topics lined up for you guys today. We are going to talk about capitalism. Like, what on earth is it? People use this term all the time. And is there such thing as Islamic capitalism, or is that completely false? Does Islam have a completely different economic model? Which, by the way, it does. Spoiler. It does. We're going to talk about exactly what the Islamic model and the Islamic economic system is. And we're going to put capitalism under the stress test, underneath the Sharia stress test in that regard. We're then also going to talk about something, and we don't intend to be controversial or scandalous. We're going to talk about capitalism in the da'wah scene, right? Is it right to be charging for da'wah? If so, how much? And then we're going to talk about capitalism in the Islamic charity scene. And in between all of this, there's so many benefits and nuggets of, Islamic rulings on different transactions and adab and zakat and so many different things that you're going to get, inshallah ta'ala. And then we're going to pivot to talking about Waqf, like Islamic endowment, funds, would you call it? Mm-hmm. Right? Which is really interesting, because for those who may not know, and just a quick introduction to it, it's a self-sustaining business model that is not for profit. It's for Allah's sake. You can make millions from it, but then this is used to basically support beneficial causes for the sake of Allah. And then we're going to have a very interesting topic about gold and silver, right? What role does it play for us today? Should we be buying it? If so, how much? It's not going to be financial advice, just so you know, but we're going to just have a discussion amongst ourselves. How much of our portfolio should we be allocating towards gold and silver? And right now, we've just had a massive drop in the market. 15 trillion?
Yeah, 15 trillion,
right? Wiped out in one day. Is that bad? Does that mean we should stop buying gold and silver? And then we're going to talk about crypto and a bunch of other things. This is actually one of the most enjoyable discussions that I've had on this show, and you do not want to miss out, okay? I also just want to mention, if you're watching this right now, as you guys know, we have a network of high net worth and ultra high net worth entrepreneurs and investors that happen to be Muslim, right? So at the time you're watching this, we are on an island. We're on a private island with our members, which is currently sold out, so you can't come, sorry, because you're already there. Say Allah Barik. And we're talking around a very nice dinner table about how to create wealth, right? We've got experts that are coming in from different backgrounds that are experts in different asset classes to talk about how to diversify your portfolios in a way that's safe, but also brings about high returns. We're talking guys that are managing hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars in assets, are going to be sharing their personal playbooks, right? Where they get deals from, how they get deals, how do they do their due diligence, and so much more. Sheikh Navid is going to be there, inshallah ta'ala, giving us the insight to his, in fact, he's already done it by the time you're watching this, his book that's going to be coming out, The Billionaire Who Went to Jannah, and so much more. Now, we only do this retreat once a year. The next one is going to be Umrah, inshallah ta'ala. It's going to be an amazingly spiritually cleansing experience for the entrepreneurs and investors that are going to come, and also educational. This is going to be the best retreat that we've ever done. And it's only going to be available for a very special few. So if you're interested in our network, you want to be around entrepreneurs and investors doing 7 figures and above that are holding each other to account, helping each other to grow, make sure they reach KPIs, open doors, and giving each other access to the best of the best. No gatekeeping, because we're companions in deen. Then you can apply the link below. With that said, let's get into the podcast. So today I'm joined by my remarkable panel, my awesome panel, my undeniably amazing panel, starting with Sheikh Navid.
Allahu Akbar.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. How are you?
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Wa fika barakallah.
We reconnected after a decade.
Allahu Akbar.
No, decade plus.
More than that, yes.
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah.
Funny, Sheikh. A lot of things happen.
So much has happened, Sheikh. So much has happened.
We've got a lot to catch up. Catch up on a decade plus, Sheikh. MashaAllah. For those who may not be familiar, Sheikh Navid is a graduate from the Islamic University of Al-Madinah. He's been teaching Islamic studies online, offline for over a decade. He's worked with some of the biggest projects in the Muslim scene in the West, one of which was working in as a custodian for a Waqf, a $50 million
Correct.
Waqf.
Yes.
Allahumma barik.
Yes.
So amazing stuff. And Allahumma barik, of course, has a very strong focus with regards to Islamic finance. As you know, we have Brother Ibrahim to my right. The big exit man.
Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar.
barik.
Allahumma barik.
Hafid of Qur'an. Is there a connection, do you think, between the 9 figures and the Hafid of Qur'an?
Definitely
Some barakah there, huh?
Definitely.
They've got the real estate mughal. Akhi, every time I hear the assets under management are more.
Allahumma barik.
No, I heard it's 220 million.
Alhamdulillah.
Is it higher or is it?
It is roughly there. Alhamdulillah.
Where's it on now?
Because the asset prices are subjective, right? Sheikh?
Literally every 2 weeks is going up.
No.
Allah, but not being serious. Every 2 weeks.
Allahumma barik. Allahumma zid.
Allah barik. It's going good though.
Yes.
MashaAllah, tabarakallah. You've secured a new land. We'll talk about that maybe.
Inshallah.
Something juicy is coming.
Yes, very soon we're going to publicize it.
MashaAllah, tabarakallah. طيب. So look, guys, as is our tradition, we're going to start off with a reminder to always ground ourselves in the akhirah and in the pleasure of Allah Azza wa Jal before we go into some of these topics that, sometimes are a bit dunya related, even though our objectives and our aspirations are, with a Islamic lens and to earn Allah's pleasure through these, economic and commercial activities that we're going to discuss. But I'm going to pass it on to Sheikh Navid to just start off by anchoring us in the right direction before we begin.
For sure. Jazakumullah khairan.
Jazakallah khair.
Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man walah. Amma ba'd. Allahumma la ilma lana illa ma 'allamtana fa'allamna ma yanfa'una wanfa'na bima 'allamtana wa zidna ilma ya kareem. So I want to share the beautiful hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam where he says, "Inna Allah yuhibbu al-'abda at-taqi al-ghani al-khafi." That indeed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves the servant that is God conscious, self-sufficient, and works inconspicuously. Now, let's break these down. The ultimate goal over here is right at the beginning of the hadith. Allah loves. So meaning that when we are reading this hadith, we are aspiring to live up to these characteristics so that we become from the beloved of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Those that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in a gathering better than our gathering. Those that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protects and defends. Those that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala increases His mercy and His forgiveness upon. And that's who we want to strive to be like bidhnillahi ta'ala. And that is the ultimate goal in everything, right? This whole dunya comes and goes. It's a facade. It's temporary. But the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will always remain. The love of Allah is what will eventually enter us into Jannah and save us from the hellfire. So now how do we get there? That's the question, right? So the first characteristic that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentions is that he is taqi, meaning that he is a person that has the characteristic of taqwa. And, often when we talk about taqwa, we have a lot of figurative symbolism, right? It's like the individual that walks in the path of thorns while raising his garment, right? Or we could take the concept of the taqwa or coming from wiqaya, which is like to shield yourself from the hellfire, a lot of symbolism. But there's one definition which is the exact opposite, very pragmatic, very tangible. A man came to Abdullah bin Mas'ud radiallahu ta'ala anhu, and he says, I would like you to tell me about the verse in the Qur'an where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu attaqullah haqqa tuqatihi wa la tamutunna illa wa antum muslimun. That all you who believe have taqwa of Allah, a taqwa that He's truly deserving, and do not die except in a state of Islam. And this could be perhaps another episode as well, because it's a beautiful verse. I want to expand on this quickly. All you who believe have taqwa of Allah, a taqwa that He's truly deserving of. So this is where we'll expand for the first part. But the ending of this ayah means, and do not die except in a state of Islam. Can we control how we die? We can't control that. That's from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? So here it's as if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that if you do your part of living a life of taqwa, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will do His part that you die in a state of Islam. And for me, that's beautiful, right? That as long as you focus on living a life of taqwa, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will grant you that death upon Islam, which is the ultimate key to paradise. But now getting back to our conversation, this man asks Abdullah bin Mas'ud, what is to have taqwa of Allah, taqwa that he's truly deserving of? And he mentions 3 practical things. He says it is to remember Allah so much, it is as if you do not forget Him. It is to obey Allah so much, it is as if you don't disobey Him. And it is to thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala so much, it is as if you show no ingratitude to Him. And you could also say that these are building blocks for one another, right? That if you remember Allah, you will obey Him. If you obey Allah, you will be grateful. So, as you begin your journey, this journey of taqwa, how much do you remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? How much do you obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? And how grateful are you to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? And these are the three biggest characteristics that are tangible that will help you understand where you are in your journey. If you're not remembering Allah, you can't be from the muttaqin. If you're not obeying Allah, you can't be from the muttaqin. And if you're not grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you can't achieve the highest levels of taqwa. So this is the first component of it, that on your journey to attain the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you have to remember, you have to obey, and you have to be grateful. Now let's continue. Then the second characteristic is that this individual is self-sufficient. And ghani, has been translated as rich. But what we're looking for is that this person is self-sufficient from the creation. And we could break this down into two separate categories as well. Category number one is that they have the contentment of the heart, right? As the Prophet ﷺ says, al-ghina ghina an-nafs, that true wealth is to be content in the soul. And there's that beautiful line that Imam Shafi rahimahullah used to say, إِذَا كُنْتَ ذَا قَلْبٍ قَنُوعٍ فَأَنْتَ وَمَالِكُ الدُّنْيَا سَوَاءُ. That if you're an individual that has a heart which is content, then you and the owner of all possessions are now equal, right? So the focus on developing contentment of the heart. And then how do you develop the contentment of the heart? It has to begin with gratitude. You have to be grateful for what you have. Because if you're constantly not grateful and just chasing something else, then you'll never be satisfied. You'll never be content. So focus on being content with what Allah has given you. Then the second component to this is having actual wealth. Being able to use your financial influence to obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is the wealth that is being referred to over here. Now, I know offline we were talking about, is this actual contentment that we should be striving for, or is it the financial resources? And the point we want to make is you strive for both, right? Al-jam'u awla min at-tarjih. That being able to combine both definitions is better than giving preference to one over the other. So now you're
If you
content.
could just expand on that, Sheikh, because this is a principle in usul al-fiqh.
Correct, yeah.
So, because when people hear these, they just want to cling on to one.
Of course.
Right? وَوَجَدَكَ عَائِلًا فَأَغْنَى. We found you rich. We found you poor, O Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We
You're right.
enriched you. The tafasir mentioned many things.
Correct.
But you're saying to combine between all of these meanings,
Yes.
it's better than picking one and over the others.
Exactly.
Just expand. I don't mean to throw you off.
No,
but
not at
I
all,
think this is
not
an
at all.
important point here.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the beauty of the Arabic language, and particularly the beauty of the Qur'an, is that when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks, there's always new meanings intended, even though the words that may be the same. So when you and I speak, if we use the same word twice, usually we're trying to emphasize what we're saying, right? But when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks, they generate new meanings, right? They say, at-ta'sisu awla min at-ta'kid. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks in the Qur'an and the same word is repeated, there's a new meaning that is intended as opposed to emphasis. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's knowledge and wisdom is so vast that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not in need just to emphasize. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can emphasize and establish a new meaning at the same time. So we see, كَلَّا سَوْفَ تَعْلَمُونَ ثُمَّ كَلَّا سَوْفَ تَعْلَمُونَ. At the surface level, it looks like it's the exact same words being used. But when you actually look at the books of tafsir, they expand into different meanings. You will come to know in this life, and you'll come to know in the next. You'll come to know now, you'll come to know at the time of death. And all of these different meanings are expanded. So now that you have multiple meanings for a sentence or for a phrase, which one do you give preference to, right? And oftentimes we want to give preference to one. But when it comes to a situation where there is no needed contradiction, then in those sort of situations, we say, hey, let's accept both meanings because they're not in contradiction to one another. They can actually complement one another. So we'll say both of them are true simultaneously.
That's part of the miracle of the Qur'an.
Oh, 100%. This is the speech of Allah, of course.
Right? And part of the eloquence of the speech of the Prophet ﷺ is in the hadith.
Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, yes.
So then ghina, which means rich,
Yes.
could mean contentment, but
Yes.
can also mean rich.
Of course, financial affluence, yes.
And you made a really good point just before we started that if you look at the are you going to mention later the common
Yeah, so we have another hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam where he says, there's no harm in wealth as long as it is accompanied by taqwa. And the ghina over here is clearly referring to financial wealth, right? So now if we use this hadith of taqi and ghani, same words, and we now use this other hadith as a qarina as an evidence, now we say that this hadith, if we were to give preference, we would give preference to the financial affluence over the self-contentment component, because that hadith is referring to that over there.
And also the point you mentioned about how the hadith is talking about the slave who relies only on Allah.
Oh yes, that's coming up. Yes, that's
I
was
won't
gonna,
spoil it.
no, no. You did it already, man. No, all good. Barakallahu feek, alhamdulillah. So, like, everything serves a function, right? The function of wealth is that you should not need the creation ever again, and that you only need Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You can do your own projects, you can pay your own bills, you can do everything that you need to do and never be in need of anyone else. In fact, rather than being in need, you now become a provider for others, right? That is the function of wealth in Islam. And that's the relationship that just like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala provides for you, you now provide for others. Now, this brings us to the last point. And I think this may be one of the most pertinent things, particularly with our young audience members. Now, when people get wealth, they often like to flaunt it. Get your fancy shoes, your fancy watches, your fancy cars, your private jets, and hey, let's flex as much as we can. But this hadith is telling us the exact opposite. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you wealth, be inconspicuous about it. Hide it. Do not flaunt it. Do not show it off. And make your moves such that no one knows about it other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that's one component. Don't flaunt it. The second component is the essence of ikhlas, right? That you give sadaqah so secretly that the left hand does not know what the right hand gave, right? So even your ibadah is just super, super private. People should only find out, if they ever find out, after your death, when they realize, how come these deeds aren't being done anymore, and people then realize, oh, it was such and such who has now passed away. So you want to make sure that you're not flaunting your wealth, and at the same time you have deeds that you've banked up for the day of judgment that no one knows about other than you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is how you attain the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah make us from His beloved.
Ameen.
Allahumma
Ameen. Ameen. Barakallah feek.
Barakallah.
Barakallah. Sheikh. Now, thank you so much for starting that off. If you're thinking of investing in real estate right now, it's risky because of all the issues that are going on in the world. The real estate market is volatile and at risk. Unless you're thinking of investing in Dubai. Whatever happens around the world, with Allah's permission, His fadl, alhamdulillah, Dubai real estate market keeps on thriving. Brother Sam Amin, one of the members of this panel, you guys have seen him before, Sakina Developments, $150 million in assets under management, is doing his second development project here in Majan. Now, here's the really cool thing. From an allocation perspective, from a fundraising perspective, this project is almost at the finish line. There is only 3 million dirham left to raise. Now, here's why you should get in now, in my humble opinion, before this window closes. 2 reasons. Number 1, the second project that's ready is not going to give you 50% returns, inshallah ta'ala. The returns are going to be good, they're going to be healthy, it's going to be safe, it's going to be secure, inshallah ta'ala, but it won't be as good as this one right here. The second thing is that future investment opportunities are going to be prioritized for guys that are already invested in this particular project. They're going to get the first option to be able to invest. And when they see those gains coming back, inshallah ta'ala, they're going to be very motivated to deploy their capital again, as has happened for Sam historically in the US, alhamdulillah. His investors have become millionaires. Some of them were just middle-class folks that have now become extremely wealthy, Allah barik, on the back of investing, and there's no riba involved. So right now, if you are considering investing in real estate and you don't want to deal with the risks and the stress of the real estate market around the world due to all of the terrible things that are taking place, Dubai is thriving. And Sam is providing you a riba-free opportunity, alhamdulillah, with 50% returns. There's only 3 million dirham left. Only 3 million dirham left. They've already raised the overwhelming majority. So you can get involved now. At the link below, apply to speak with one of his team members, inshallah. And hopefully Allah puts barakah in this for you and, it's successful. With that said, may Allah bless you. Let's get back to the podcast. So this now, I think, is a nice way to pivot into the core topic today, Sheikh.
Yes.
I want to talk about capitalism, right? I feel like a lot of people, a lot of Muslims, especially in the West, grew up with a bad relationship with wealth, right? I.e., money's bad. Money's the root of all evil. And a lot of the times when I speak with them, because it doesn't make, like, money's like a knife. You can use it to spread butter. Use it to kill someone.
Right.
So I remember Sheikh Muhammad Sheikh rahmatullah used to say,
Rahmatullah,
money is is like a magnifying glass.
Ahsant.
It magnifies what's in your heart. If your heart has evil, the money will magnify the evil in what you spend it. If your heart has goodness, then money will magnify the goodness in your heart because you use that wealth for good. And I remember that always stayed with me when he said that. May Allah have mercy on him. Amin. So, the kind of things that you hear people, the arguments they make against being rich, it's as if they're confusing like what we do and the whole, like wealthy Muslim scene. It's like they're conflating wealthy Muslims with wealthy capitalists. The arguments are always as if, hey, we're capitalists. You guys are chasing the dunya. It's all dunya. It's just always about money. It's always about profit. It's like, who said it's always about money?
Yeah.
Money's a vehicle. So can you just break, capitalism down to us, Sheikh? And tell us where, as Muslims, where the Sharia disagrees with it, right? And where does it agree with it? Because I feel like sometimes we throw terms and opinions, but we don't even understand the issue from like a foundational perspective, right?
Yeah.
And then everyone can chip in this discussion, Shah. But let's first understand capitalism through the light of the Sharia.
Can I respond to something first?
Yeah,
and then I'll get into that.
Please do. Please.
So I want to talk about this mindset of how do we view people with wealth and how do we view our own journeys with wealth. So you look into the Qur'an and we have يَوْمَ لَا يَنْفَعْ مَالٌ وَلَا بَنُونَ إِلَّا مَنْ أَتَى اللَّهَ بِقَلْبٍ سَلِيمٍ. And this is the point that Sheikh Muhammad rahimahullah was making, that on that day your wealth and children will not benefit you except for one that comes to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with a pure heart. Meaning it will magnify the purity of your heart if your heart is pure. The wealth will magnify that. So now focus on the state of the heart. Don't focus on the wealth itself. Wealth is neither good nor bad. It magnifies what exists. But what naturally ends up happening, and I think this is a problem in our own psyche, we naturally go towards negativity and pessimism. If I get wealth, I'm going to end up like Fir'aun and Qarun and Haman. But we never think, if I get wealth, I can also be like Abu Bakr, Uthman, and Abdurrahman ibn Auf radiallahu anhum ajma'in. So you have to train your mind to think, don't worry about the fear of going astray, but focus on how do I become rich and righteous, like the 10 promised paradise that we speak about. And then if you look at this even further, in the hadith of ذهب أهل الدثور بالأجور, that the rich companions run away with all of the reward, the hadith concludes by saying ذلك فضل الله يعطيه من يشاء, that this is the favor of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He gives to whomever He pleases. And then the highlight over here is, what is the favor of Allah, right? And the favor of Allah is that you're fulfilling your personal ibadat. You have a desire for more ajr. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed you with wealth and you're spending that money in the way of Allah. This is the ideal case scenario that we should be striving for. So that journey to become like Abu Bakr and Uthman and all of the other rich companions is just that, a journey. But you have to have the mindset that what Allah has given me will allow me to reach higher levels of Jannah that poverty will not allow me to achieve. And a contention that people usually have is, the poor people will enter Jannah 500 years before the rich, right? We've heard this. So how do we reconcile this? Very easily, that poverty will not bring about accountability. Wealth is a blessing and all blessings bring about accountability. But just like if your salah is correct, then everything else will be correct. If you do your due diligence in making sure that you earn in halal and spend in halal, that due diligence will not only allow you entry into Jannah with the poor people, but will give you access to the highest levels of Jannah as well. So I think this mindset shift is very, very important. So now, getting into this concept of capitalism. Capitalism is an economic framework with regards to how do we pursue our wealth and what level of government intervention should take place. So a free market economy should have no government intervention whatsoever. You pursue as much wealth as you possibly can, pretty much by any means necessary. Like there's no real rules to this. It's like every man for themselves. Then you have socialism, you have communism, and all of those bring in government intervention. Like what responsibilities do governments have to provide for their people and take care of their people? Now, what is the Islamic framework? And this is one of the issues that we have over here. We want to Islamicize non-Muslim secular concepts. I think we need to get away from that. Rather than trying to understand an Islamic economic framework within the lens of capitalism, we will say, yes, there are similarities between it, but in essence...
similarities with socialism.
With everything. We have similarities with everything. That's exactly the point we're trying to establish. It has its own independent framework that preceded these concepts. Right? None of these concepts existed when the Qur'an was revealed. None of these concepts existed when the Prophet ﷺ created his marketplace in Medina. So rather than trying to understand understand Islam through the lens of capitalism and communism and socialism, this is something independent that is superior to all of these things. And then you should try to understand these things in relation to Islam, right? That's eventually what we want to get to. But in simplest terms, there's meant to be a pursuit of wealth, but there's meant to be mercy and compassion at the same time. So the government should provide and take care of its people, but the people should not be dependent upon that and should not expect it. So when there's a case of necessity, the government will intervene and provide for you. This is Baytul Mal, right? You're from the fuqara and the masakin. Khalas, we'll take care of you, no problem. But that doesn't mean you're content remaining poor, right? We want to get you out of that situation. That's why we're providing zakat to you, so that you can get out of the cycle of poverty. And then we also want to facilitate for you the pursuit of rizq. And that is why, if you were to truly believe in Allah, truly rely upon Allah, a tawakkul that He is deserving of, He would provide for you just like He provides for the bird. Leaves its nest hungry and comes back with his stomach full. You got to work for it, right?
So when you would you add to mercy, like the pursuit of wealth, with mercy and compassion, would you add that justice as well?
So I think justice is a default position, but justice over here is difficult to implement at a macro level. It's implemented in a micro level, meaning that when we create our contracts now, justice needs to take place in those contracts. Whereas at a macro level, mercy needs to take place because you're dealing with people that aren't even able to get into a contract in the first place, right?
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense. So I guess an example of leaving, like not a lack of intervention, would be the hadith when the Sahaba told the Prophet to set a price.
Exactly, right.
And if you can expand on the hadith, Sheikh, what
for sure. So the companions came to the Prophet ﷺ and they said, Ya Rasulullah, can you give a set price for these dates? And the Prophet ﷺ said that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is al-Masa'id. He's the one that sets the price, meaning that the price will be set through the exchange of supply and demand. I'm not going to set a price and intervene and fix a price on something when the natural exchange of commodities, well, it will set the price itself, meaning that this is the free, market economy that let the people figure it out themselves.
I always felt like there's a secret in how the Messenger described Allah is the one who sets the price. Have you ever reflected on that? Like Allah al-Musa'ir, like Allah sets the price. Like what imani benefit could we take from that in terms of the fluctuation of prices in the economy and the marketplace?
So, I mean, this is where I think taking one hadith in light of all of the other ahadith that are there is very, very important, right? So if you're fair in your trade, you give a full description, you allow people fair opportunity, you don't go to the outskirts of the market to monopolize a commodity and then own all of it and then, price gouge. Like all of those things are anti-Sharia. So if you take care of all of those characteristics that are meant to be there for the Muslim businessmen and tradesmen, then the natural price of something will find itself based upon supply and demand. And that's how I understood the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. But that's just in the physical lens of it, right? In the spiritual lens, the one that is selling will have barakah in his wealth. The one that is buying will have barakah in his product that he bought. Right? Yeah.
And an example of intervention. What was that?
An example of intervention. So we can see like reverse intervention over here. Like during the time of Umar ibn al-Khattab radiallahu ta'ala anhu, extreme poverty, extreme famine, people are caught stealing. Umar ibn al-Khattab radiallahu ta'ala anhu put a moratorium on the implementation of the had at that time.
What does that mean, sorry?
A moratorium, like a short-term stop on the had being implemented because there was a time of necessity over there, right? Another thing that the government would intervene in.
People's hands would not be removed?
Yeah, they would not be removed. Exactly.
Because of
extreme poverty. Yeah. So that would be like one example over there. Or the fact that we're not allowed to monopolize a commodity. So for example, as people are entering into the marketplace, you can't intercept them on the outskirts of the city and say, hey, let me buy all your products and then let me go sell it in the city. So this would be like if you were found out to do this, the government would intervene and say, hey, that transaction is null and void. You have to allow these tradesmen to come to the market and sell their products. So this sort of intervention would take place to allow for a free market economy.
In capitalism, there's no problem there, right? It's every man for himself.
Bro, in capitalism, we sell stuff we don't even have.
Yeah.
Right? It's like this is the real problem. It's get rich by any means necessary. By hook or by crook, we'll adjust the laws if we have to, if I can get rich through it.
Even if it's unjust.
Unjust.
And it lacks mercy.
Lacks mercy, creates monopoly, makes the rich richer, poor poor, creates a disparity of resources, creates a disparity of wealth. Like so many things happen. Allah understand.
What are your thoughts on that?
There's a lot, Sheikh. Thoughts on which one? I'm just
Whatever comes to your mind, just share. Bismillah.
I think the main important point, Sheikh, the capitalism is not even true capitalism now. It's just basically as they please, right? They intervene when they feel like they have to intervene to win the next election. So I think it has become, how can I win the next election? So I'm going to intervene when needed. And even that intervention does not make sense a lot of the times, right? So for example, we talked many times, like they want to intervene on the credit card interest. It's not because riba is haram. They just think it's like it's a good slogan. I have capped the interest rates. I'm helping the poor. I'm helping the affordability crisis. But if you are true capitalistic society, why are you intervening on the interest rate, right? Everybody's reading the contract, and ChatGPT can read the contract for them. They know what they're signing. Why are they signing up for a 30% credit card if it's irresponsible and if they cannot? So that's not even true capitalism, right, Sheikh? Like
exactly. Yeah.
Why is he intervening now?
I mean, let's say, sorry to cut you off,
No, please.
but I think this will relate to your expertise. The 2008 bailout, it didn't bail out the poor people, it bailed out the banks.
Yes.
The people that you should be saving, you're not saving. The people you should be saving are the people you do end up saving. Right? So, Allah al-Musta'an.
So it's the true capitalism don't even exist in its true form, how it's intended. And I think also there is I never knew about the hadith. Prophet ﷺ said Allah will set the price. But they talk about, like Adam Smith talks about, invisible hand, right? Like the invisible hand will basically come and dictate. So, but actually in reality, they don't let the invisible hand adjust. Well, they come in and they come in and they intervene as they please. So,
Allahu Akbar.
Go on, Sheikh. Jump in.
MashaAllah, very insightful and very eloquent, Sheikh.
Barakallah.
First time I've heard you speak, MashaAllah.
Jazakallah khair.
But I think you put it very beautifully, and that caught my attention. That we should not be looking at economic models or societal models through the lens of what we've been taught and what we've been experienced. But rather we should look at the Islamic framework,
of course,
and everything else around that.
For sure. Because
Islam is pristine and pure, and it has the ultimate benefit for humanity, not just the Muslim population. And yes, Islam does promote you going out earning. It does not condone you sitting idle. To top off one more hadith where I'm not sure, I think it's a hadith where the hand that gives is better than the hand that takes.
The upper hand is better than the lower hand.
The upper hand is better than the lower hand
receives.
Correct. And zakah, my humble opinion, but I've heard it from some scholar, I don't recall where though right now. One is to help society and those that are in need. But the other, it's a hidden penalty on hoarding.
Oh, 100%. Yes. Ahsant. Barakallahu feek.
So you have capital. Sam would love this because he doesn't like it idle. So the capital should be, in use. And the capital that's not in use is the one where there's that attracts the zakah.
There's a hadith, the Messenger said to the one who's the guardian of the wealth of the orphan. He said, use his wealth, otherwise the zakat will eat his wealth. So use the wealth. It should even the wealth of the orphan shouldn't just stay stagnant.
It should be in use. MashaAllah.
And there's so much to expand on. I want you to continue, but I think one point I would like to highlight here, I think Sam is unjustly being thrown under the bus here. But this concept of not hoarding your wealth is grounded in Islam. And it's further substantiated by our times over here, where if you hold on to wealth, not only are you paying your zakat, but you're losing your wealth to inflation. Right? Like every year, you're losing like 5 to 8% of your wealth through zakat, and again, physical wealth through zakat and through inflation. So it makes no sense. Why would you hold on to wealth?
Why would you hold?
And now USD going down, Sheikh.
Exactly. That's exactly the point. That's that's exactly the point that we're talking about over here.
So no, not throwing him under the bus. We very much align.
Oh, you align? Okay, got you.
We don't.
It was just joking.
We don't
whole
keep.
We're always short end of the month.
We generally don't keep asset-rich cash flow.
Of
He
course.
needs $1 million a day, Sheikh. He's trying to raise $1 million a day.
Allahumma barak. And then one last benefit was just when Bilal radiallahu ta'ala anhu was in the wealth of the Prophet ﷺ, one of the things he says is that no night would come except that the Prophet ﷺ would give away all of his wealth. Right? And the point over here is not to show the generosity of the Prophet ﷺ. We understand that already. But here's this concept of not hoarding and circulating it in the society.
Yes.
And this is where, if you circulate it into society, this is how your business grows. So if you want people to buy your products, one of the things you have to understand is people have to have money to buy your products. If the people have no money to buy your products and you're holding on to all that money, how are you going to become a successful businessman? So here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, look, just give 2.5%, allow the circulation of wealth into the economy, and it will come back to you through the products and services that you provide. And you'll be rewarded by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
To me, I honestly don't know what these multi-billionaires are doing. You know, just hoarding their wealth.
Come on, man, don't throw him under the bus now.
No. I'm just saying they're just hoarding their wealth, and the money is not going to benefit you. It's not going to benefit your kids.
Sadaqat.
Your kids. You've got more money than like 10, 20 generations.
But when you say, Sheikh, they're holding on to their wealth, what do you really mean?
Like a guy who's got $10 billion, and he's gonna die. He knows he's gonna die with it
in cash,
even in assets.
But assets is different, right, Sheikh?
So, but a lot of those guys at that stage are more about preserving their wealth than about creating. Of course, it's gonna grow and compound slightly every year.
Yeah.
But the point is that imagine you took that money and you circulated it. Imagine you know, okay, you're a billionaire, you put 9 billion back into it. You're still going to be cash flow rich because the money's coming back to you, right? You're putting that money to use, but they just hoard it.
But a lot of them are paper wealthy. Sheikh. It's all. So what is money? Money is that's what settles transaction, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for example, his net worth could be $1 billion, but it's all tied to a company that VC firm bought like 5% for 50 million. So in conceptually, the company is worth $1 billion.
Yeah,
but he cannot really settle that transaction share. Nobody's going to pay him $950 million for the rest 95%.
Yeah.
Right, Sheikh? So he does not actually have money.
It's inflated. It's on a PE of times 20.
Correct.
Yeah,
correct.
Which is never going to happen.
Yeah.
Right?
If you're like any decent Muslim out there, I know you wish you understood the Arabic language so that you could connect with the Qur'an. Do you know how long it took me to learn the Arabic language? It took me like 7-8 years. And you know why I'm kind of upset about that? It's because I've recently come across Ijada Institute, which has students speaking Arabic in 6 months. In 6 months. So I was mind blown. So I decided to connect with the founder and the teacher, Sheikh Abdurrahman, and I asked him, how did you do it? And he built a system, Allah Barik, that focuses specifically on teaching those that are non-Arab speakers living in the 21st century, i.e. our context, how to study Arabic. Most of the programs that you're going to see out there in the books were not even designed for Westerners or non-Arab speakers. And if they were designed back in the 90s and the early 2000s. This is a program that's mind-blowing. I actually listening to one of the calls that they have with the students. They log on and they talk to each other and they talk about their day. And I was like, wow, these brothers and sisters, of course, there's no free mixing. They are talking in fluent Arabic in 6 months. Now, of course, you have to put the hard work and you have to do the work, but you can just focus, just doing a small amount every single week. And within 6 to 12 months, inshallah ta'ala, you're going to be proficient. And then there's going to be that moment where you're going to be in salah, you're going to be reciting Qur'an, and it's going to come and you're not expecting, I promise, where you're going to relate to an ayah and it's going to touch your heart in a way, it's going to bring tears to your eyes. And that's going to be the beginning of your relationship with the speech of Allah. So if you want an Arabic Studies Institute that, inshallah ta'ala, works as far as I'm concerned, and within 6 to 12 months you want to be speaking Arabic and then, inshallah, understanding the speech of Allah, then apply to join Ijada Institute at the link below, inshallah ta'ala.
But I think one point that I want to expand from Imran over here is people that buy houses that add no value to society. So we own 2 or 3 houses, but no one's living in them. You're actually depriving someone from benefit, and you're unintentionally harming society by inflating the rental market now because your house is not available for usage, right?
So basically like second homes, and that's what you're saying.
So if you do have a second home or a third home, rather than letting it sit idle, rent it out. And that is more in the objectives of the Sharia than just to hold on to that house for nothing.
Right.
What I was trying to get at is that Allah Azza wa Jal, he said, وَتُحِبُّونَ الْمَالَ حُبًّا جَمَعًا. It talks about the people who, they don't want to give to the orphan. They don't want to give to the person who's poor, the miskin. They just want to hoard their wealth. Right? You're going to die with, all of this wealth inside of your bank account. You're not going to see it. Your kids are never going to see it. No one's ever going to see it. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I guess what it does is the prices will go up now because of things.
So particularly when you're holding on to assets that aren't adding value to society, this creates a shortage of supply, right?
Yeah.
And when supply is shortage, demand goes up and the price naturally goes up, right?
Yeah.
So particularly with houses, this is the clearest example that the reason why there's so many rental crises in our Western communities now is because you have so many people that have bought houses that are not being rented out and not being utilized. So now there's a shortage of houses for rental, and thus the rental price goes up.
So I just want to highlight some other things that make capitalism bad, right?
For sure.
And by the way, we're not communists. Just putting it out there.
Or socialists.
We are not. Yeah. Socialism makes you into a bum. It makes you into a bum. You just right now, Sheikh, the amount of young people in the UK that are on benefits because I've got mental health. I don't mean that to make fun, like as in just because it's become a thing now.
Right.
I've got mental health. I've got this. I've got that. I can't work, and you're just getting money.
That requires a lot of hard work, by the way. Making up, faking up all these documents,
it does.
keeping up with lying, keeping up with it requires a lot of work, man, to get welfare from the government.
100%. Sheikh, there's guys that are doing it and without having to lie, though. Do you know what I'm saying? And the guys at home, he's smoking weed, he's playing his PlayStation, he's in dopamine, cyclone on Instagram and TikTok. He's never going to go out there and earn. Do you know what I'm saying? It literally turns you into a bum. So we've got huge issues with communism. But because capitalism is the thing that I think you associate being a Muslim and being wealthy with also possibly being a capitalist, and then that's why you think it's bad and you stay away from it. I just want to highlight this. So obviously the biggest issue, I think, or I don't know if I can say the biggest, but to me the thing that stands out as the primary issue is riba. Because capitalism is make money for all intents and purposes without any intervention. Without intervention from Allah first and foremost, without intervention from the government, without intervention from anyone. Just let me do if I can lie, cheat, steal to get money, I'll get money.
Yeah.
Right? If I take it to its extreme. So they just make up all these ribawi instruments, right?
Of course.
And just so what are you guys' thoughts on that?
So just to touch on something you mentioned earlier and respond to this. And maybe give you an example of something. So you mentioned, you touched on something very important earlier regarding the billionaires today who hoard their wealth. And hoard, we can go to a lot of definitions of that, but just taking it at face value. Most of them, what happens on their deathbed? So there's a circle of that society who say our children should not benefit from our hard work. So we're going to make sure we spend it all in our lifetime. And then they go out into excess, and that brings about its own issues and problems and disaster in society. Some of what's being released right now is partly due to that. That's one. The other is you then have those that would, prior to their demise, would then give it all away. So you have those who have this pledge, they've signed these certain pledges where would give away. But you're depriving your direct heirs,
from their
which Islam also prohibits.
Right.
All right? And so Islam is very balanced. And if you just look at the Islamic perspective, you wouldn't be doing down, or I don't want to use the other word, to your own children. And the other way is, and neither would you move too much into excess of yourself. And then the fundamental line is, and in Islam we have the understanding that your wealth is what you've eaten, what you've used, and what you've sent ahead. Everything else is not yours.
Correct.
You're simply the custodian. And the ultimate owner is your creator. And you're just simply holding it or managing it for your heirs. And the concept is missing. So it's mine. I don't have any accountability. We also have the concept of accountability, which you've highlighted earlier on. So you have some some fear. We should be having a lot more fear in how we earn and spend. Unfortunately, we get caught up, but that's missing. So fundamental problem with society is the lack of deen, or the lack of Islam.
100%, Sheikh. 100%. Like, we live in a godless society, right? That is the fundamental problem over here. Allahul Musta'an.
Also, just actually, I know at least in the Shafi'i madhab, the fuqaha, they mentioned that a person who's terminally ill and expected to die now,
he cannot,
give his wealth away for charity, because it could be him prohibiting his heirs. The hadith mentions that your charity when you're healthy is what's the hadith? Is your sadaqah health is.
Sadaqah in your health is more than
it's more virtuous than when you're sick. So the whole thing is twisted on this point of a godless society, Sheikh. So the hadith, I think this hadith is very pertinent. The Messenger said, "Ta'isa abdul dirham wa abdul dinar." Destruction, or may he perish, the slave of the gold coin and the silver coin. So can you expand on this, because it seems like in a capitalist society, money, the dollar, the pound, the cent, is taken as a god.
Oh, 100%.
Yes.
100%. So, Sheikh, again, this will be like a full episode on itself. But I think let's expand on a couple of things. So the person that worships wealth, what does that mean? Two sides to this over here. Number one, your obedience now becomes this. Anything that I need to do to accumulate it, I will do, right? Capitalism, right? That's exactly what it is. But on the other side of this is how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala criticizes Abu Lahab, right? He does jam' of mal wa'addada, and he just likes to count it. He feels good by the wealth that he's counting. I don't know if you guys ever watched DuckTales growing up. Did you guys ever watch that? There was this amazing cartoon. I loved it as a kid. You have Scrooge McDuck. He has 3 nephews, and Scrooge McDuck is always swimming in his pool of gold coins. He has like a swimming pool of gold coins, and that's what he's swimming through. And I always used to think of Abu Lahab, like when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that he found fulfillment or he found happiness in counting his wealth. That's capitalism right there. I want to hold on to it. I'm going to find happiness in the wealth that I have, not in the wealth that I use. Right? And the Islamic ethos
every day, basically.
Exactly. Yeah. And subhanAllah, I think this is an actual issue where people that are invested in the stock market, every 5 minutes they have to see what's happening in the market, right? Like, this is a problem here as well.
Checking the bank account every day, Sheikh.
Yeah.
What's the number? Is that hadith sahih?
Which one?
The Messenger, he told Aisha radiallahu anha, had you not looked at the dough, it would have carried on producing into the day of judgment.
Allahu alam, I don't know.
I've heard it from two, but I said I want to, because someone said to me on the back of the hadith that, he heard someone saying, qiyas on that you shouldn't be looking at your bank account. If you don't look at your bank account,
there's more barakah.
As in, the money could last.
So as in, this is where إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ وَالْأُمُورُ بِمَقَاصِدِهَا. Like, what is your intention behind it? If you're trying to find happiness, oh, alhamdulillah, I'm so wealthy, that's problematic. That is when the barakah will be taken away. But if it's like, yo, I need to figure out how I'm going to pay my bills at the end of the month
expenses,
and stuff, then that's perfectly fine, right? So intention is a big thing over here. But I want to get back to this concept of differentiating capitalism from the Islamic ethos. The Islamic ethos is we have to create value. Capitalistic does not care about creating value. It creates about wealth. How does this actually play out? In Islam, you can only generate wealth from a product or service that you sell. In capitalism, you can make money off of money, which is the essence of riba right over here, right? So now there's no value being created. You have not made society better through a product or a service. You're just fortunate, and I don't know if we should use that term, but you just happen to have wealth and are now taking advantage of people that need it, so you're charging them. And this is why you're waging war against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because this person is coming to you at a time of desperation and needing wealth, and you're saying, I will provide to you, but I will also take advantage of you. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave you freely and didn't take advantage of you, so how can you take advantage of people now, right? Thus you're waging war against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So that, for me, is the biggest distinguishing factor. Islam focuses on creating and adding value. Capitalism does not care about adding real value as long as you get rich, right? Yeah.
Zakat, I think that's also a big differentiating factor, right? Between the capitalistic system and the Islamic ethos, because 2.5% of certain wealth, right? That which is money, that which is like stock and whatever have you, stock that you want to sell. You have to give 2.5% of that to, the masarif for zakat, the specific categories of people, the poor and so on and so forth. Sam, you've looked at a lot of these very wealthy people, right? Studied them. You're an expert on Donald Trump, as we've established. If they were to give away 2.5% of their wealth, would poverty exist? Like, would it exist in America?
So I think there's a study on it. You can go for it.
No, go ahead, Sheikh. I don't know the study.
I think someone has done a study. If 2.5% of, I think just 10%, or the top 10% is given away, the world hunger would and poverty would be eradicated.
If just the top 10% gave 2.5% away.
I could be wrong on the percentage, but it was the top X%.
Yeah.
And,
what I know though, Sheikh, in terms of data, there's the calories that we produce every single year, like in terms of food calories, can feed 10 billion people a year.
Oh, wow.
And there's how many people? 8 billion, but probably half are going to sleep hungry. Or
Way
die.
more than this.
Way more,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
SubhanAllah. But
Half are going to sleep hungry?
more
More
Sheikh
than
is
that,
saying more.
Sheikh. More than that.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, if you take continents and numbers, Sheikh, I think it will make sense, right?
Yeah.
If you
And
take
10
big
billion calories.
calories produced can feed 10 billion people.
As
Like
in,
they'll
this
be
is,
full.
this is not what's being hoarded. This is what's
No.
being...
Yes.
Wasted.
Food, just food,
Yeah.
Sheikh. Yeah. You cannot hoard food, right? It's just like allocation of resources, right? It's not being done right. There's no moral justification. There is no moral authority telling people what to do. It's all basically do whatever you can. There's bills, people pay $80,000, $90,000 dinners, 5-6 people.
Sheikh.
So that's to the point that you start to wonder what's happening.
But Sheikh, I think, look, those are on individual cases. I think let's speak about our
Yeah.
governments over here. So particularly in Canada, and I'm pretty sure I read this about the UK as well, they throw out surplus milk so that the price of milk does not go down so low that the farmers don't make any more money. They throw into the ocean surplus wheat such that the price of wheat does not go low. Why not just send that to other parts of the world?
Yeah, why?
Again, because they want to control the price, right? So going back to the hadith that Allah is al-Masa'id, this is a clear example of modern capitalism doing the exact opposite.
Capitalism.
We will destroy food for the sake of controlling the price.
So they...
This is
Even in
crazy.
the thing,
Yeah.
even in the points that Islam agrees with, or rather capitalism agrees with Islam, they don't apply it.
Not at all. Not at all.
Shouting.
Yeah. And this is like when you look at the issue of hunger and poverty in the world, it is by design, Sheikh. It's not as if it happened by accident. It is by design that the rich want to keep getting richer and the poor are forced into these systems that force them to be poor, Sheikh. That's the reality of it.
And that's why when Adam Smith described invisible hand, right? One of the examples he used is the invisible hand is a man with all his wheat and all these things he produces. He can only eat 3 meals a day. His
Yeah.
family can only eat 3 meals a day. So what he has to do, automatically, he has to distribute the surplus.
Yeah.
So that's the invisible hand. That's how poor gets served. But even that invisible hand, you're cutting off by literally throwing in the ocean.
Yeah, yeah.
So, this is tabdhir, right?
Sorry?
This is tabdhir.
Oh, yes, of course.
Wallahi, I just
Yeah.
understood the ayah.
Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar.
Ikhwan al-shayateen.
Yes.
I always wondered, I don't, why Allah described the people who do
Extravagant,
tabdhir,
yeah.
like destroy and waste wealth as the brothers of shaitan, of the devils. Wallahi, I just understood it.
You want to take it even deeper than
Take
this?
it deeper, Sheikh.
The relationship between poverty and kufr, right? Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min al-faqri wal-kufri wal-faqr, right? What is the relationship? When a person is poor, they're vulnerable to all other ideologies. Anything that will fulfill my need to survive, I will submit to. And that's why Christian evangelism and missionary work is so, effective in our countries, because they are so poor that, khalas, if I need to become Christian to get food, so what? I'm surviving at the end of the day. So this is the relationship. That is why they're the brothers of shayateen, because they're taking them away from faith. and they're putting them in a compromised situation where now they're open to anything and everything.
So not only are you making them poor, but then now you're exploiting their poverty.
Yeah, exactly.
To then feed your filth to them, huh?
Yeah.
So again,
sorry to cut you off.
Please.
And this is like, if you look at colonialism was not just taking of resources from our countries. Colonialism was taking our resources and then we'll give you Christianity. It was exactly just that, right?
Well, I just on this point, I think it's important just to mention a lot of Muslims also don't give the zakat. Wallahi, you know what I mean? Wallahi, to the audience, man, fear Allah Azza wa Jal. And I feel like a lot of people they give charity and they think, I've actually met people that I give sadaqah.
Yeah.
I don't have to give zakat.
Yeah.
Right?
Not the same.
Like if you have wealth, my brother, you have to have a mufti, bro.
Yeah.
Like you have to, like all these family offices, bro. You have to have a sheikh there, bro.
Yeah, part of your board of advisors has to be. If you're that level
Yeah.
of complicated, like you don't know how to figure it out, or even if you know, that you should have it verified and checked.
Yeah.
Right?
CMO, Chief Mufti Officer.
Allahu Akbar.
Pardon the interruption, but in case you ever wanted to move to Dubai, I've got something very special for you. As you may be aware, myself and Abu Bakr moved to Dubai and Sharjah last year. It was one of the best decisions that we ever made for our deen, our families, and our businesses. Living here is amazing. You've got a masjid in almost every single street, unparalleled safety and security. You've got lessons from mashayikh and different teachers and students of knowledge in English and Arabic, and no income tax. Now, how do you move here? That's a question that you might be asking. Well, it can be tough if you don't know your way around things. Sometimes the companies that help you get visas here, they got hidden fees, long waits, big problems, resulting in visa rejections, a lot of wasted money and time. This is where Ansar Consultants comes into play. They helped us set up everything. No hidden fees, no long waits. They kept it simple and honest. I got my visa in less than a month. And these guys have a 100% track record helping brothers get their visa so far. 100% track record, that's insane. Allahumma barik. Now, if you're thinking of moving to the UAE, I recommend Ansar Consultants. They can even help you invest in properties here with a 100% Sharia compliant contract. So if you want a smooth move like we did, click the link below and check out Ansar Consultants. Now, back to the podcast.
Sheikh, could you just enlighten me, please? So, Zakat is obligatory, right? Sadaqah is optional. So you mentioned a lot of people give Sadaqah and believe the duty is done. I've heard, and you can verify it, that obligatory action is more rewarding in nature than an optional action.
Without a shadow of a doubt, Sheikh. We have
One of you can take it on.
Please.
We have a very clear hadith from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which is a hadith Qudsi, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, my slave doesn't get closer to me with anything other than that which I have obligated. So the obligations are the things that you get closest to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with, and that He rewards you the most for, without a doubt.
So zakah would get you closer to Allah than nafil sadaqah.
Exactly. Sheikh, we can simplify this term. This is the example of the man that will pray his 2 sunnahs for Fajr, but is not going to pray the fard.
Okay.
Like, can you think of the logic behind that? No one would ever agree to that. But this is what happens when I'll give sadaqah, but I won't give zakat. Right? That's exactly that. Yeah.
Allah is big musibah.
And we have 2 very scary hadiths, Sheikh, over here. That one, the Prophet ﷺ, and I was going to give you the example, but like if you go to a jungle, like what's the thing that you fear the most?
Snake.
A snake, right? The
black mamba.
The black mamba.
They are from Africa,
Yeah.
so I was going to say the lion.
But the point is, like, a lot of us that aren't exposed to the jungle, we always fear the snake, right? And that's the exact warning that the Prophet ﷺ gave us. That on the day of judgment, the people that did not give their zakat, a snake will come and wrap around their neck and will bite their face, saying, I am your wealth that you did not give zakat on. I am your wealth that you did not give zakat on. That's one side. The second thing is the hadith of the branding, that people that had gold and silver and they didn't give their zakat, they will have basically their gold and silver turned into molten lava, and they'll be branded with that, and they'll be burnt with that, man. So it's a very scary reality of not giving your zakat, right? Like, you always want to side on the side of error. It is better to give more zakat than is due than to fall short. Yeah.
What's the ayah? هذا ما كنزتم لأنفسكم فذوقوا ما كنتم تكنزون.
Yeah, that's it.
Taste what you hoarded for yourself.
Yeah.
You didn't give. And the sad thing is, it's not even that they're not generous. It's just ignorance. Like, a lot of the times, it's not knowing how to give zakat on certain assets.
Also
No,
diligence.
it's not even- it's like
Diligence, yeah.
it's the complacency. I can't be
Yeah.
bothered to learn how to do it.
Yes.
Right?
You do due diligence on everything.
Exactly,
Cut short,
yeah.
Sheikh, like, but there's no due diligence on this.
Yeah.
Like also, Sheikh, if you can just expand, zakat is wajib, even if, like, as in, if you haven't paid for 10 years, you still have to pay for 10 years.
It's a debt to Allah,
Yeah.
right? You have to pay off that debt.
So some people maybe started practicing,
Yeah.
10 years, 15 years later, but they've been rich, or even if they haven't been rich, but you've been zakat eligible for 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
Brother, work that out.
Yeah.
Work that out, brother.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? You were going to say something?
I see a social illness within our communities. You can bleep it out if you don't want to. So a lot of people would go and, as you say, instead of giving the zakah, they'll give a lot of sadaqah. But furthermore, they would go out and help the entire world, but ignore their own families or the own. They'll pay the staff bed, keep them just barely surviving.
Yeah.
They would then go out, their own aunties, uncles, own sisters, some cases are, are forced to work or puzzle for themselves.
Because helping there is not good for marketing, no?
Yeah.
But they would be helping everyone else. And I'm certain there should be some Islamic injunction or nasiha to start from within or start closest.
Of course,
right?
100%. So the Prophet ﷺ, he intervened in the family affairs of Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiallahu ta'ala anhu, where Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiallahu anhu was very, very poor, but the wife of Abdullah ibn Mas'ud had wealth.
Okay.
So rather than Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, seeking wealth from elsewhere, the Prophet ﷺ told the wife of Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, start off by giving zakat to your husband. So, and this is very fascinating. A wife can give zakat to her husband, but the husband can't give zakat to his wife. Why? Because the wife is your dependent. You are responsible for providing for her.
Yes.
Whereas the wife is not responsible for providing for the husband.
Sure.
Anything that she does is an ihsan from her. So this is like the only caveat that you have to keep in mind. You start off with zakat at home, but not from those that you're obliged to spend on in the first place.
Yes.
Can't give zakat to your parents, can't give zakat to your children, can't give zakat to your wife, but everyone else, aunts, uncles, all of those people that are not your dependents, you should definitely start off by giving zakat to them. Yes.
I want to talk about pricing because, obviously when you sell something, you want to price it and you want to maximize your profits. We're not taking riba, we're giving our zakat. There's no gharar in our transaction. We're selling what we own. We're not selling what we don't. We're not monopolizing. But I want to maximize profits.
Yeah.
What, capitalism doesn't care. Charge whatever you want, bro. Right? What's the Dean's take on this?
So the Deen's take is there is no limit as to how much profit you can make as long as you have a fair playing field, right? So there shouldn't be any sense of monopoly. There shouldn't be any sense of shortage or natural catastrophe. And then all other
exploiting.
that you're exploiting. In all other situations, make as much money as you possibly can.
What about ghaban though?
So ghaban over here is where
Can you translate that for the people?
yeah, I wouldn't even know how to translate ghaban into one word, but it's the concept where a person feels cheated.
Yes.
Like the circumstances have been made unfair to such a situation where they feel cheated in the situation. So this could be in a place where you didn't describe the item properly. That could be a form of ghaban. Or, for example, they were deceived into the matter thinking that they needed this item for a particular product, but in reality they didn't need it at all.
Also, could it be based on price? Like, isn't you paid such an extortionate price?
Yes, because you thought you needed it, or you thought there would be a benefit in it, and in reality there wasn't. So cheated could be a translation for that. Yeah.
So, sorry.
Sorry, I just want to on this. The concept of you've said this a few times, a monopoly, right?
Yeah.
Is it monopoly on necessity or things that are not necessary as well?
On anything.
Across.
On anything. Yeah.
And where's the line? I'll give you an example why I'm asking, right?
Yeah.
Generally, one of the ways we would drive up a market is
Is
I
you
know where it's
control
going.
you control the supply. You can't. That's the thing. The free flowing market, you cannot control the supply like that.
so say a community is being handed over.
Yeah.
We understand there's a massive arbitrage. It's currently undervalued. So we go in and buy out as much as we can.
Yeah. Which is fine because you're trying to benefit off of this, right? So someone's selling something for really cheap, it's under market value. You're going and buying it. That's perfectly fine. That's not what I'm talking about over here.
No, I'm not talking about buying all the sugar, when there's a shortage.
Exactly. No, and you're creating an artificial shortage. That's what the Sharia prohibits, right?
Okay.
Right? So Imran has sugar, you have sugar, he has sugar. I go buy all of your sugar. Now the next day comes, people need sugar for their tea, and there's no sugar to be found. They're forced to do business with me. And I can set the price as high as I want because no one else has access to sugar right now. The Sharia would not allow this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sheikh, just to break down, sorry Sheikh, just real quick, just to expand on Brother Ibrahim's example. Let's say Dubai Islands, we talked about it, right? Let's say Dubai Islands, everybody wants to live there, okay? And there's only, out of the 5 islands, they're launching only 1 island. Me and Brother Ibrahim were like, okay, we have the funds. Let's buy up everything from Nakhil right now.
Yeah.
And we buy up. And then we don't sell to anyone. We just hold it. People are crying when it's coming. Like, what's happening? Then boom, we drop it when it's like the demand is to the level where it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And what do you think?
So, I think we're getting to very specific examples here. And just for a disclaimer for our audience.
Very good example.
For a disclaimer for our audience. We have rulings in the Sharia that the Sharia wants as regular rulings, but then every situation requires a specific fatwa.
Okay.
So always keep that in mind. Yeah. But I think let's address this issue over here. Number one, what is our intention over here? Our intention is to buy something that is below market value and to make money off it. You're allowed doing that to not pump.
It's at market right now.
Oh, at market.
But I'm buying it.
We want to raise the market.
We want to raise the market.
Taib. So now, as long as there's other housing available in the city, then you're okay. But if there's no housing available in the city, you have to release it into the market.
Yes.
Right?
No, there'll be other housing available within the island as well. And
Does this come down to Sheikh, the prohibition of, like, in times of need, inflating the price of things?
I mean, not only that, in Surah Al-Hashr, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala refers to لِكَيْ لَا تَكُونَ دَوْلَةً بَيْنَ الْأَغْنِيَاءِ. This is the concept of monopoly, that the rich should not be able to hoard a certain commodity and then control the price as a result of that, right? So we only release a limited amount of time so that we can keep our profit margins high. That's what the Sharia doesn't want.
But what they're doing is...
We'll meet offline with Sheikh.
Inshallah.
Yeah.
I think I've answered your question.
No, let's meet now.
Yeah, I think
it will get complicated.
No, let's go.
I think
Let's go. This is.
I think the concept is clear that as long as there's housing available for people, you can hold on to an asset and in hopes that it'll accumulate value. That's not a problem.
Okay, I'll if you want to go.
Go. Please, let's go.
So in a new area,
But this is so valuable for people. Like this is the real deal, man. Now we're getting into it. Let's go.
So I'll give you 2 examples. One is on land. So traditionally, we get into areas where people are not in. We generally create a market and then get out whilst everyone gets in. How we would do that is identify an area. For now, let's just say DIC.
Yeah.
As much as possible, we buy any amount of land that we can hold. There's still, the market's bigger than us, so there's still a lot left there. So it's not total monopoly. We would then start selling at a premium and bringing in players to that market to start developing these lands.
Right.
So in that way, you now have 10 people constructing or contracting or developing in one area that would not have been there previously. And when this happens, hey, this area is interesting. This guy's gone there, that guy's gone there, this guy's gone there. Okay, it's an area I should look. And then you get all the smaller players coming in.
Yeah.
And a market is created.
Yes.
Would this fall under monopoly?
No, this is market creation.
This is
perfectly
creation.
fine. Yeah.
No. Following the puck, Sheikh, if you didn't give that example you gave me in the morning.
It's
exactly that.
So I was asking, do you know ice hockey? Like you know what the game is, right?
I've seen the stick and
you've seen the ice. That's all you know.
That's it.
The ball that they play with is called a puck, right?
Okay.
One of the most famous players, his name was Wayne Gretzky. His advice is anticipate where the puck is going to be and go stand over there. So that when the puck comes to you, you can score your goal right away. So you just have to anticipate where the puck is going to be, and that is going to be your success. And this is like solid business advice. Anticipate, particularly in real estate, where the government is going to invest in. Go to that place purchase the land, and as it increases in value, you sell it and make use of it. So you're creating a market at that point, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And again,
That's a fair description.
yeah. And this is what I'm trying to say over here is the focus in Islam is creating value. As long as you're creating value, inshallah, you'll be fine. And as long as you're not creating circumstances that prevent people from opportunity, you'll also be fine, inshallah.
Inshallah.
You had some questions.
No, that answers my question, Sheikh.
Yeah, it does.
It does, 100%.
Fantastic.
Very good.
So-
Barakallahu feek, Sheikh. Good
So
point.
can I just give a push over here? So inshallah, when you guys make your billions now, we have to donate to the Waqf, inshallah.
Inshallah. Of
Khalas,
course,
done.
of course,
Yeah.
inshallah.
Yeah.
Sheikh, coming back to the issue of price. So this iPhone, let's just say it goes for $1,000 in a month.
Yeah.
Can I sell it for $100,000?
If you can find someone to buy it and you're not cheating them or manipulating the product in any way, yes.
I think that's where it becomes the word manipulating.
Yeah.
That's the
I'm not
word.
Okay, a guy wants to pay me $100K for it.
Yeah.
As in,
Shall I give you the example?
like I would have to manipulate him to get him to pay me $100K.
Not
Influence.
necessary.
As in,
Persuade.
pay
not
me
necessary.
100x.
So
would have to be manipulation, right?
someone, and there's an example, you know this example I'm talking about, but I don't want to say it on air. So there was an incident in 2015 in some country, and the phone that was used by that particular leader subsequently got auctioned off for a very high price. It so happened to be an iPhone.
Yeah.
So willingly, no one had to lie that this iPhone's made of gold or silver or something. But just for sentimental value, someone paid that amount.
Yeah.
That would be an example where there's no manipulation, but the buyer would be happy to pay it, and it's totally permissible.
But I think Sheikh, correct me, Sheikh Imran. I think what Sheikh is trying to say, for example, let's say a coaching session,
Yeah.
right? So typically, let's say in the market, somebody wants to, I'm just throwing, I don't do coaching personally, Sheikh, but let's say,
No, use me as an example. So I charge $500 an hour.
Allahu Akbar.
I don't promote it, but if
Allahumma
someone
barik.
talks to me, the links in the thing.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what I price, why I do it. I don't like to do these, and it's not Islamic coaching, by the way. It's just
Business coaching. Yeah.
it's you want to talk to me,
You're paying for my time.
pay for my time.
Gotcha.
So, but it's not da'wah. So, and I keep bumping up the price based on what I feel my hour is worth.
Yeah.
But it's arbitrary.
Are you forcing anyone to do it?
No.
Are you guaranteeing any form of results that are not deliverable
No.
when you pump? Then khalas, you're fine, Sheikh.
but that's not a good example, Sheikh. Let me tell you why. Because it's very simple. It's just paying for time.
Yeah.
But I think more what's, if we can talk about, Sheikh, like what's more trendy now is pay me $100,000 for an hour. I'll teach you everything you need to know about real estate development in GCC. So do you understand, Sheikh, what I'm saying?
It's a non-deliverable. It's a deliverable that's not possible.
But I might really think it's possible. I'm not saying me. I'm just using myself as I'm not doing that, Sheikh.
Yeah.
But I'm just using myself.
Yeah, let's just say you've got the blueprint and you can summarize it in an hour.
طيب, so if you can actually deliver on the product and someone agrees to pay for it, there's no problem with that, yes, Sheikh. Right?
It's good. It gets really I think there's a lot of. You should be
I
careful.
think that the problem is when you don't deliver, or the guy feels
that's the key.
the guy goes to that what's the word you used previously? Was it
Ghaban.
Ghabat?
They feel cheated.
Where he
Yeah.
feels cheated.
Yeah.
But Sheikh, here's the pushback. I'm going to be on the pushback side. The pushback is, I might say, I delivered on my promise. I gave you the blueprint. You couldn't execute on it.
Yeah, and that's often the problem, right? That's
Yeah,
why
so-
people often blame coaches
Yeah.
because of their own failures. They're like,
Yeah.
yeah, this coach was terrible because I paid so much money and look, I'm still in this terrible
And
position.
probably the coach knows that you cannot execute. It's not for everyone to execute. That's
Yeah.
where
See,
I
but
think
this, hold on,
it
see,
gets
see, hold on. This is an important
That's
point
the
over
problem.
here.
Yes,
though, right?
exactly, Sheikh.
That the Abu Dharr radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he came to the Prophet ﷺ, he said, Ya Rasulullah, make me a leader. And the Prophet said, no. Like you are just an individual that's too weak. You can't become a leader. You have to have the best interests of the people in mind. So if someone comes up to you and says, I want to pay you $100,000 for your time to get this blueprint,
That's the key.
you have
Qualifying
to-
the prospect. If
Yeah.
it's an unqualified prospect, tell him I'm not
Exactly.
taking you
So
on.
that's the point I was just going to come to. The
That's
Safi,
the key.
right?
Sorry?
The Safi,
Exactly.
the dim-witted person,
Yeah.
right? So do I have a responsibility as a person who's selling something to vet whether this person is a Safi? So how do you translate Safi? A person who, vulnerable, or
Yeah.
easily exploitable?
easily exploitable is probably
Right.
the polite term to use
Yeah,
it.
because of his inability to manage wealth.
Yeah.
he's stupid.
Yeah.
Right? He's dimwitted.
Exactly. That's
He's dimwitted. He doesn't know how to basically manage wealth.
Yeah.
Right? He's not insane. He's not majnoon.
Yeah.
But he just makes dumb buying decisions.
Yeah.
Right? Is it upon me to identify whether he's a Safi or not?
So
In
we
the
can talk.
online space.
He's not allowed. He's not allowed to buy from me, right? He should be mahjoor. His money should be withheld from him and managed on his behalf.
Yeah.
But if he comes to me, do I have to work it out?
So I think, look, let's look at two things over here. Number one, what is the Islamic obligation? And then number two, what is the better thing to do? So the default in contracts is that they're permissible until proven otherwise. So if someone comes to you and says, I want to buy from you, you don't have to do due diligence on them. Is this person intelligent? Do they have this wealth? Is their wealth stolen? You don't have to do that. The burden of proof is not on you for that. So the default is that it is permissible. However, as soon as you are able to identify that, look, this person looks as if he's like this, you know, what's the ayah? يَعْدَلُوا هُوَ أَقْرَبُ لِلتَّقْوَى. Like, be just. This is closer to having taqwa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Like, if you sense it, stay away from it.
So this is why me and Abu Bakr stopped selling info products online.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's just too many dimwit people buying and they blame you, right? We would do our best to be like, no. Brother, don't buy.
But are they really dim-witted people, or are these people that just want to get rich quick and don't want to put in the effort?
I think the latter.
A mix. But then there's some guys, Sheikh, they're actually just dim-witted, bro. Like, as in, he's Safi. So, he's Safi.
Allah was-stan, ya Sheikh.
That's why we were speaking with Abu Lahi yesterday.
Yeah.
These guys, I mean, Allah reward them. I mean, someone's ready, willing to pay. If they don't believe he's got, I think they've got, based on data, what kind of person is most likely to succeed with his program.
Yeah.
It's like down to like 3 characteristics. If they can't identify this through the sales process, they'll disqualify the guy,
Which is
even
fair.
if he's willing to pay.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just trying to work out though, that to what extent do I have to verify and vet?
You don't have to, Sheikh. Up until you see something that is a flag, you're free.
So Sam does something, right? If someone jumps on a call with Sam and says, "Hey, listen, I want to invest $200,000 in your development project.
Yeah.
By the way, this is all of my savings."
Yeah.
He will say no.
And that's very good of him. Allahumma barak.
But is he obligated shar'an to do that?
No, he's not.
He's not.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's the legal definition, right, Sheikh? But sometimes you gotta go above the legal definition, because I feel, why is he investing his last $200,000 with me?
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying, that out of ihsan, you should.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, if this person is aqil and baligh, meaning that they're sane and they reached puberty, they're technically free to do what they want at that time.
They are, Sheikh. But at that time, okay, there's 2 paths I can take.
Yeah.
Okay, khalas, you want to invest?
Over here, I think sometimes there's also like the figure of speech. You know, I'm investing my last penny with you. But in reality, I have, more money. I'm just saying that I'm investing a lot of money for you, or I feel this investment is as if I'm giving all of my wealth to you, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But let's say, Sheikh, I can take 2 directions there.
Yeah.
So I can say, okay, well, let's go with the investment, right?
Yeah.
Or if I see that he's a little bit scared, he doesn't know, he's just mentioning kind of like, what should I do? This is my last savings, $100,000. Should I invest it all? Now, is it moral for me to still convince him, yeah, you should? If you ask me. Because I always say, no, you shouldn't.
This is where, like, we have this concept of taradi, that both parties are meant to be content with the contract. So if this person is investing 200,000 and they're like, yeah, this is all my savings, I'd be like, bro, chill. This is a good opportunity. Why don't you give me 100,000 instead and keep 100,000?
Yeah.
Like, that's the point of taradi that I would achieve.
Got it, Sheikh. Yeah.
So I hope people can see, just through this. By the way, Sheikh, I've really enjoyed this conversation. I've been wanting,
Same here, Sheikh.
I've been wanting to do like a macro look at capitalism and the Islamic principles of how to govern a marketplace. There's so much more that we can go into this, but I just want people to see like there's a difference.
Oh, 100%.
There's a difference. You know what I'm saying? And there's nothing wrong with making money. Just do it in a way that's pleasing to Allah Azza wa Jal. Give your zakat. Don't take riba. Don't lie, cheat. Create actual value, and circulate your wealth.
That's it.
Fantastic.
Create value. Yeah.
Sheikh, what I want to go into now is something that's going to be a little bit controversial. And I don't intend to be controversial, but I genuinely actually want to have the conversation because it's something that I have wrestled with myself, over the years. And it's basically charging money for da'wah activity, right?
Yeah.
Now, we know that a person can charge, for like teaching, Imam can get paid, the mu'adhin can get paid.
Right.
There's ahkam pertaining to the mu'adhin who gets paid and the one who doesn't get paid.
Yeah.
SubhanAllah, this is something, there's no issue with that, right? Of course, living in the West where da'wah is taking place and there's no Baytul Mal, there's no Islamic government that's supporting it. You also don't necessarily want to take donations because that comes with its own limitations. It makes sense that, you would charge money for your programs, right? We did the exact same thing. We had an online Islamic studies institute called Knowledge College. There's been many that exist, we've helped set up others that we don't even have a stake in, just because we found that it was a useful model. Da'wah should take place. We shouldn't be dependent on people's donations. And, no one's going to come and, give us a helping hand from the British government either. So,
Right.
We charge. We put out a lot more free than we actually charged for, but people who wanted like a structured learning program, we charged. But living in a capitalistic society, I feel like the spirit of capitalism has entered a lot of the da'wah spaces and I feel like it's subtle. And maybe I'm talking more about what I found in myself as opposed to what actually exists in other people's, projects. But like let's maximize profit. And sometimes and even if it's subtly, but at the expense of the khair. Like, where do you draw the line? Because Sheikh, there's guys. I promise, I'm not trying to make this scandalous, and I'm not trying to direct what I'm about to say to anyone. So please, I don't know what you've heard, and I keep myself out of scandals online. I don't listen. I don't follow up any of this stuff. But there are guys that will like demand first class. They demand like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm traveling, and I want to bring my wife, and my kids as well, and it's like they demand all these things, and I'm like, is this wrong?
Okay, is this what the question is?
Just the whole thing.
Yeah,
I remember something. Sheikh Kamal al-Makki said that.
Punch him in the face.
Sorry?
Punch him in the face.
I remember he said something that sat with me.
Yeah.
And over a decade ago, he said, "We're not here to be served by the da'wah. We're here to serve the da'wah."
Allahu Akbar.
Allahu
Akbar.
And
I miss the Sheikh, man.
Yeah.
Has to make more videos online.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he said we're here to serve the da'wah. And I remember that always stuck with me. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, yesterday, you wouldn't let me take your bag.
And why are we mentioning this now?
I'm just saying, like, as in, and by the way, they would have been
Like, why are we mentioning?
no, as in, it's like you don't want to be served.
So funny.
Do you know what I'm saying? And by the way, you should have let me take it because you're my guest.
100%.
But then there's some that it's like, why didn't you take it? Like, do you get me, Sheikh? Like,
So
I feel like the scene is a little bit.
There's so much to unpack over here.
Yeah.
Now, again, I think let's start off with the legalities of the Sharia first.
Yes, let's go.
So if you come to a land where there's no one that has knowledge of Islam except for you, you're not allowed to charge at that point, except what you need to survive and what is they're able to do. That you can't manipulate the market, right? Over there, right? That's number one. Or number two, if you go to a place where you have a specialized type of knowledge that no one else has, and they're in need of that knowledge, you can't manipulate the market at that point. In all other circumstances and situations, we come to the negotiation table. You want my time? This is what I would like in return. That's a valid contract, and I don't see anything wrong with that.
Likewise.
But now what ends up happening, though, is when people find out these figures, they're like, this is exuberant. As a result of this person having an exuberant honorarium or demand, they must be insincere. And that becomes a crime within of itself. Like, we're not there to judge people's intentions. It's, that judging of intention can perhaps even be worse than the exuberant demand that they're
I won't
having.
judge the intention.
We shouldn't
But is it
judge the
wrong?
intention. It's not, Sheikh, because you're at a negotiation table. You can demand whatever you like. If the other person agrees and you have created a fair playing field, that's
So
it.
look,
But at the end of the day, the bigger point over here is, are we putting our faith at risk in one sense, and are we minimizing our reward in another sense? So putting our faith at risk, that we're purely only practicing and teaching Islam for the sake of money. If there's no money involved, I'm not practicing and I'm not teaching. That's when the faith, just let me finish. And at the second time, it's like, okay, I'm earning, but you know what? Sometimes my intention gets messed up. That, I found out this brother made more of an honorarium and I didn't get it, and now I'm becoming jealous. And now you're really diminishing your reward.
So
right?
that's not even the angle I'm coming from.
Yeah.
I believe that anyone who's in the da'wah space, their primary intention is not money.
Inshallah, I would love to hope so.
I have that husn dhan.
I would love to hope so.
Because then you're a munafiq. Right? And I don't believe that.
And if there were munafiqun at the time of the Prophet ﷺ, there's clearly munafiqun now, right?
Yeah, but I have husn dhan. I would never say...
May Allah protect us from nifaq.
Amin. You know, but I'll tell you, let me use myself as an example, right?
Bismillah.
I'll be vulnerable.
Allahu Akbar.
Sheikh, I've never sold anything as easy as Islamic education. It's the easiest thing to sell. And I remember, subhanAllah, Sheikh, when COVID hit, we didn't even intend, like we stopped our programs in the masjid, so we moved them online. Oh my goodness, I done a webinar. $38,000? No, sorry, pounds.
Allahumma barak.
In 40 minutes. I was like, what?
So, sorry, Sheikh, webinar?
Yeah, webinar. Sheikh. By the way,
No, not per ticket, I think.
no. As in, it was
Cumulative.
£1,000 each.
Okay. So
Right.
it's like 38 people
Yeah.
joined.
30, no, it was more, and there was like some £38,000.
Okay.
And
yeah.
I'm just sitting there, just. By the way, like,
It was an Islamic course.
yeah, Sheikh, I'm there. Guys, we're gonna, طلب العلم فريضة على كل مسلم. And by the way, I didn't know I was gonna make 30,000. I was genuinely trying to say, guys, seek knowledge. We have a program, and in order to pay the instructors and teachers and everything,
Yeah.
you got to pay. They got bills to pay.
Yeah.
And يرفع الله الذين آمنوا منكم والذين أوتوا العلم درجات.
Yeah.
And I'm going in. And next thing I'm like, whoa, there's 38,000 G's in the bank account.
Allahumma barak.
I was like, this is the easiest money I ever made.
Yeah.
Wait, 1 second. Now, what do I do? Because I don't need £38,000 to run the da'wah now.
Yeah.
Now, it's not a charity. But this is not a waqf, so I'm not obligated to put every penny of it back. And I'm a shareholder, and I've got other shareholders.
Yeah.
So can I take profit? Well, then, wait 1 second. Now, it's like this is a business now, and I want to help the people. The da'wah element is still there, and this could be a secondary thing. But I just felt so uncomfortable. Like, wait, I can really capitalize off of this, and I can't lie. Like it was just a fight I didn't want to have.
Yeah.
So a couple years in that ring, I was like, this is for me. I got out, but is that wrong? Like, is it wrong that there are guys that are multi-millionaires on the back of Islamic education?
Got you. So I think let's start off with this. I feel uncomfortable with using the term I was selling Islam. Like, Islam is not a commodity that's bought and sold.
Did I say selling Islam?
Yeah.
I meant
I know exactly.
I meant programs.
I know exactly
programs.
what you meant.
Yeah,
but I'm saying the language is important over here, that Islam deserves a high level of respect.
Of course,
that it doesn't
yes. Barakallah fi point
So
out. I
we're
meant
facilitating Islamic education through online platforms.
Yes.
And that is the service that we're providing,
Yeah.
right? So with that being said, so as long as you've described to them what's being sold and they're willing to pay for it, there's no issue, ya Sheikh.
No,
absolutely no issue.
I'm saying, is this a healthy thing for? Because I saw it, right, with
So
the youngest.
let's talk about trajectory over here.
Yes.
The trajectory over here is, as people see that there's money to be made in the realm of da'wah, is anyone doing free da'wah anymore? Has the quality of free da'wah gone down? And I would say the numbers of people doing free da'wah has decreased, and the quality of free da'wah has drastically gone down, because everyone is chasing that bread now, right? He gets to make his bread, he gets to make his bread. Why don't I get to make my bread, right?
Making bread is not an issue, and living comfortably is not. But I'm just saying, like, as in,
True,
this
but
is
again, we
gonna
have to
be
look at trajectory over here as well.
$100 million
right?
company I'm building.
So,
It's an
as
Islamic
in, we have a
madrasa.
crisis of imams now. No one wants to become an imam anymore
Why?
because there's no money to be made in it.
So they
Okay, now, Sheikh, if somebody comes up with a business, okay, that we're going to make you the highest sought after imam, and we're going to put you, do the placements
My
of you
God.
in the masjid.
Yeah.
Take the business models. There's business models like headhunting, recruitment, right?
Yeah.
We take that for imams and we do it in the West. So I'm just asking.
No, but I think this is what's
So the
happened where
business model.
now
That's a
when,
good business model,
now
right?
when you look at imams' salaries in the United States of America, imams are now making $150,000, $250,000
Yeah.
because there's such a scarcity of imams, right? That's the reality now.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, again, look, the point that I want to bring up over here is going back to Sheikh Kamal Maki's point. Are we uplifting ourselves or are we uplifting the da'wah? And there always has to be that fine line that I will allow myself to make money, no problem, but I don't stand on the dawah should stand on me, right? Like I should be serving the dawah should not be serving me. That has to be the fine line, right? And ideally, and this is the ideal case scenario, your source of income should be separate from the teachings that you do. That is the ideal case scenario. We have to agree to that, inshallah ta'ala.
I won't mention who, but I'll mention, but we'll bleep out, right? We can bleep it out.
Yeah.
So, like, make sure you bleep it out. Right.
Yeah.
Do you know how much they make annually?
Couple of £100,000.
5 million in annual recurring revenue.
Allahumma barak.
What?
5 million dirham or USD? Sheikh?
USD, United States dollars.
You're in the wrong business.
18 million dirham.
If you look, if you look at the instructors, hard man, they don't touch that, and it's there to reinvest in the da'wah.
Allahumma barak.
Now, I'm not saying that you have to live like that, but
I love that example so much, Sheikh. Why can't we encourage that?
That's what I
like
want.
make the money,
Yes.
but invest in the da'wah, not in
Invest
yourself.
in the da'wah. And by the way, make money outside the da'wah, and get a Lambo, no problem.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I'm saying if you want to get the Lambo, earn that outside the da'wah.
Earn that outside
If you're going to make money in the da'wah, reinvest it into the da'wah.
Okay, that's what I just wanted to double check, because that's how I've been feeling.
Yeah.
There you go.
I love that example. I was like, that's how it increased my iman that people still like that still exists.
Allahumma barak.
You know?
Allahumma barak.
That's a brilliant example, and Allah take them from strength.
And by the way, it's self-imposed.
Yeah.
They're the
They
They created the mandate for
they're
themselves.
fully the shareholders, and they
Yeah.
can take it out at any moment, but they don't.
They choose not to. Allahumma barak. May Allah bless them and increase them. Amin.
Amin.
Yeah.
To tap on something, and especially since you mentioned that they are the shareholders. So the example you used previously, where there's a demand on, well, provide X, Y, Z, and I'll come. My take, and I'm not a scholar, and Sheikh, you can correct me here, or you can expand. So I think when organizations bringing you along with public funds,
I was going to just comment on that.
that's
please.
a problem, right?
Yes.
100%.
What do you mean by that? Sorry.
So say you coming to my city, Durban, South Africa, for a lecture, and you say, well, you know what, Ibrahim, I have to fly a business class, and I'm going to bring
4 families with me.
4 families. Stay in a top-notch hotel.
Yeah.
I'm going to eat lobster. Yeah.
Right.
we laugh at this, Sheikh, but now they serve lobster in Hajj. You will go to Arafah and they're serving lobster in Arafah.
100%.
Right. Yeah.
And if it's me as an individual, I would say, so if the contract is between you and me, and it's my funds,
Yeah, then no
I
problem.
would say no issues.
Yeah.
Because it's.
Yeah.
But if I'm running an organization and I'm taking public funds and I'm using public
Not only
funds,
that, Sheikh, if you're collecting
So
zakat.
you read
Zakat.
my mind. That was my question.
to pay you, even if it's lillah, Sheikh,
Yeah.
to pay you from public funds,
Yes.
this is now extravagance.
They did not sign up for that.
Because the public didn't give you the money
that's
to
a
waste.
completely separate issue. And I think this is where the crux of the matter is.
Yes.
When you have charity organizations that are using donation and zakat money to pay these exuberant honorariums and stuff
Yes.
like that.
Then
That's a
you
red
also
flag.
get those that
That's a red flag.
go via Hajj and Umrah to collect. That's another
Yeah,
problem in the
yeah.
space.
So I think, look,
Anyway.
So we're pivoting now to charity, because that was the next part.
Yeah.
So capitalism in the charity space.
I think let's pivot to that.
I'm just highlighting because the timestamp has to be there. Sorry.
No worries. I think that is where you have to be very, very careful. Like these funds were raised for a particular purpose, which is to take care of the poor and the needy and the categories of zakat. Paying a speaker's honorarium is not amilina alayha. You can't say that this is justified from that perspective.
Why not, Sheikh?
Why not?
Yeah, just so we can walk the people through.
Okay,
So
so-
Amilina alayha, the people who are collectors of zakat.
Collectors of zakat, right? So the collectors of zakat are physically the collectors of zakat. They're directly responsible for collecting people's zakat. So this could be the institution as a whole, and this is where you have to pay your staff and your admin. I have no problem with that. And we can actually talk about percentages and stuff like that. But the point over here, the external contractor that is coming to speak is not a direct contributor to the collection of zakat. So the solution over here is, if you're going to pay this exuberant honorarium, you should have a private sponsor.
Correct.
Or a private business that says, you know what, I will pay for this person's expenses, no problem. Can we get even more idealistic? I wish we can get to this point of trust in our community where a speaker wants to come, no negotiation of honorarium, and the organization says, we will shower you with as much as we possibly can. They both do ihsan towards one another. And that's how I think the dawah space should be run, with mutual trust and ihsan towards each other. That's how it should
Some
be.
organizations do take advantage. Like,
Oh, Sheikh, my God. I've seen this so many times, first-hand experience. I asked for internet at a hotel once, and they're like, Sheikh, you have to book your own hotel room now. The only hotel room we're going to provide for you is internet free. Like those sort of things is so strange, right?
They said that.
Yeah. Anyways, I don't want to talk about my own personal examples. I just slipped out because it's a real trauma. Like I express, I'm like, dude, what are you talking about? Like I don't
and
understand.
the internet teach the lessons online. That
Exactly. I'm like, I need this to partially do what I do for work, but I also partially need it to do for what I'm doing for you, right?
Yeah, research.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what am I supposed to do over here? So anyways, that being besides the point, we should have ihsan towards each other, not take advantage of one another. And that's the idealistic in me. The non-idealistic, khalas, we're going to negotiate a contract, put your terms forward. If it is exuberant and high, we shouldn't be using charity money for that. Get an external sponsor, and that's not a problem, inshallah.
So, Sheikh, go on.
Sorry, Sheikh. So now that external sponsor,
Yeah.
what kind of incentives can we give to that external sponsor? Should there be any incentives, or that external sponsor should do it out of khair, or external sponsor get something out of it?
So are they doing it as a business contract, or are they doing it seeking reward from the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? And ideally, we want to try to keep the two separate. There are things that you do for the sake of Allah, and there are things that you do for the sake of business.
Let's say business,
So,
Sheikh.
yeah, so if they're doing it for the sake of
Purely
business,
business
they can
contract.
negotiate. I will get time on stage. You will play my ads. You will put my face on the marketing material. You know, all of that stuff. That's
Or I would
perfectly
take the
fine.
sponsor and use him for my own thing. I will take, this celebrity, and I'll, use him for my own business activity.
Yeah.
As in the speaker.
The speaker, yeah.
Is that okay as well, Sheikh?
I mean, if you negotiate that with the speaker, inshallah, that shouldn't be a problem.
Okay,
Yeah.
and it's a pure business contract.
It's a pure business contract. You shouldn't anticipate ajr from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for that. But if you want ajr from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you know what? This person has a lot of value and khair to bring. Let me sponsor it. And inshallah, every single person that benefits and the people that benefit others, I will have a share of that ajr. Bid'illah.
Taking
Right.
percentages, Sheikh, for fundraising.
Oof. Sheikh, that is like very dangerous territory.
Really?
Because again, you come in and we're raising money for this masjid, and you're like, yeah, I'm taking home 10%.
Is it
Sheikh,
wrong?
you're not the masjid.
Is it wrong though? As in, is it haram? And then because is there any level of percentage?
Without clarification, I would say yes, it is haram.
really.
Without clarification.
But what's the reasoning for the
Because when you're reciting these ayat and hadith, they think they're giving to the project, not directly to you. When you're taking a percentage, they're directly giving to you. At least with the honorarium, we can play gymnastics and loopholes that perhaps they're getting it from an external fund and paying you. But when you're taking a percentage, you're directly saying that whatever people donate from lillah and sadaqah is coming directly into your pocket.
So when you say, Sheikh, without disclosure, did you say?
Yeah, without disclosure, yeah.
So they have to, ideally, in an ideal world, the speaker is taking 10% off, like complete disclosure.
Yeah, 100%. That is the only way, I think.
SubhanAllah.
I think that's the only way you're doing this ethically.
But Sheikh, what if, for example, let's just say a charity, yeah, says
Sorry.
No.
the charity discloses 10% of everything that
That's admin fees.
it's
yeah.
admin fees,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And they say from the fundraising that this particular influencer or speaker does, we will give you 5% of whatever's raised, but it will be taken from like this 100k. We're going to give you 5k from it, but 10% was our admin fees anyway.
Yeah.
Well, is that fine?
Sheikh, you know the hadith of Nu'man ibn Bashir that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has that sanctuary and you're a shepherd.
Yeah.
You let your sheep graze past that sanctuary, the sheep's going to eat it.
Yeah, 100%.
This is that sanctuary right here where we're encroaching too close to this boundary of haram. That even if you say it's halal, it's encroaching too close to haram. Why do we need a percentage, ya Sheikh? Why can't you just give me an amount and then let me pay you that amount? Right? Why can't we do that? Like, this is what I eventually want to get at. Like, why are we not content in
So
doing that?
that's where the capitalistic mindset comes in.
Yeah.
Incentive, they're more incentivized to do this, to go above and beyond, as if that's normal. That's
Sheikh, okay, so Sheikh, how is this different now to, for example, charities run ads,
Yes.
right? And let's just say the ROAS, the return on ad spend,
I think for a lot of charities it's 2. Right,
Two for one?
As in, for every $1 you spend, you get $2 back, right?
Yeah.
So when I come and I see this ad and I donate, for example,
Yeah.
$100, this $100 is now going to be used on ad spend, and actually, I've like half of it is going to be used on ad spend.
Yeah, so 50.
So I'm actually only giving 50, right? How's that different to now, for example, me getting a speaker who I know is going to probably be able to raise, $100,000, right? And he's going to ask me for 10% because he's in demand now. This is a job. This is a profession for him now, right? He's going to ask me for 10%. I'm actually making more money for the charity by giving him 10. Where my ROAS now is
10%.
Is 10%. For every $1 I give him, I make $10 back. Here, the ad spend, sure, there's no speaker, but I'm actually making less money for the charity.
Sheikh, we just spoke about capitalism, right?
Yeah.
We spoke about adding value. We spoke about, accountability.
Yeah.
Like, I feel we're throwing all of these things out the window in order to have this conversation. And it's such
I'm in agreement with you. But I'm just trying to work out what are the limits because you can see how a charity would make the case and say, well, these influencers are raising a lot of money.
Sheikh, you can raise a lot of money by robbing people as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's the perception, right, Sheikh?
Sheikh,
So-
I've got to stand up.
Right? As in, the point is that you're trying to serve the deen of Allah. There has to be ethics involved. Yeah,
100%.
Sheikh.
Sheikh. I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
I'm
I'm
just
just trying
arguing on behalf of them.
I'm just trying to see, is there a scope? Is there a scope?
Sheikh, there's always a scope because the default in contracts is permissibility until proven otherwise. So the threshold to make something haram is very, very high.
Yes.
But the point I want to keep getting at is why do we want to keep encroaching that threshold?
100%.
Like, why do we keep trying to inch it closer and closer?
Because
Right?
there's guys that take 50%, right?
Sheikh, there probably are.
On 100 G's.
There probably are.
100
But
G's.
may Allah
Take-
protect us from being from those people, Sheikh. Again, the point mindset we want to have, like I want to go back to this
Guys
brother's
that take
hadith.
20%.
Sheikh, we want to be the hand that gives.
Yep.
We don't want to be the hand that receives. Can we focus on giving rather than receiving?
You know the hadith, إنما هذه الصدقات من أوساخ الناس.
Yeah.
Right? This charity that people give is from the
From the impurities, from the filth, yeah.
specifically zakat,
Yeah,
right? I
yeah.
think the hadith reverses zakat.
Yeah.
My point is, bro, you want to get paid out of the people's, impurities.
Yeah.
What they're using to purify their wealth. That's what you want to go back and feed your family. I'm not saying it's like it's just
Sheikh, can I open a can of worms?
please.
Sheikh, I feel it's been opened. Like we're
I
not
think
close
we need
yet.
to go into it, right?
Allah Musta'an.
Charity and charity organizations today have become a business.
Yeah.
Capitalism.
So, 100%, how you have property developers competing with each other, you now have charity organizations competing with each other. The outcome, a lot of hidden issues, some of them are, my first issues with them before the issues to society. There's no charity organization whose books are open to public scrutiny, but you're dealing with public funds.
Right.
I honestly take offense to that, and I see I've dealt with plenty of organizations to the point now if someone comes for donation, I say, okay, what you doing? You're doing something in this country. All right, give me the price of XYZ commodity. No problem. I'll come there. I'll take the flight. I'll come there. What's the charge for your guide for the day? What's the price to ship the goods? Done. I'm paying that. I'm coming there. Line the people up or get the commodities. Do it ourselves. Come. I'll use your infrastructure because you connected in that land. I'm not. But please, nothing goes into your pocket.
Yeah.
So we'd use you. We'd use your facility. We'd use this. Because honestly, Sheikh, I've been sick and tired of dealing with these organizations. You then find that, they'll come begging like, there's a crisis, they can't pay salaries. And like a month later, you'd realize that they have X million in surplus for the last X number of years.
Yeah.
Now, what about all the zakat is not
That's
discharged.
another danger. Like you can't hold on to zakat money for a year, man.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Allah Musta'an.
So there's a lot of issues in the way charity organizations are run today. First, if you've got public money, you need to be accountable for the public.
Yeah.
Please tell the public what your executive team earns. You need to declare what percentage you're taking to run your admin office, which, yes, we're not denying you need funds for that.
Yeah.
You can. And by the way, most of these organizations that I know as well, they have private sponsors even underwriting the admin, right?
Yeah.
But they're also taking a percentage.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, which one is it?
Just to mention what you said. So Hamza says
Yes.
he runs Sapiens, and
Mashallah.
Jazakallah khair, and it's not a charity. But even him, subhanAllah, I love what he on the website put exactly how much everyone in the team earns.
Yeah.
Right, and showing that, look, it's the industry standard, and he didn't have to do it because it's not a charity.
Yeah.
It's not a charity,
Good ethical practice.
but still,
It's ethics.
having that
I
Allah
agree.
bless.
100%. No, great. Allah reward him. Give him
Ameen.
strength to strength.
I'm just trying to highlight good.
Yeah,
Just I
good
don't want people to think that there's no khair out there. I'm just trying to there's
No, good practice. Then what happens, Sheikh, is you have all of them competing. The donors get sick and tired because now you have 10 people coming to us. These organizations get exploited by, I don't use the derogatory term, but people who are deserving, but because now there's no one organization or there's no communication between these organizations, you have the same home being fed multiple times.
Sheikh,
Right.
that's a disaster.
And that's crazy. I've witnessed
They have a
this.
picture of an orphan, and I'm going to come to you. I'm like, yeah, Imran, sponsor this orphan. Sheikh, sponsor this orphan. I've gathered sponsorship for this orphan 3 times, but obviously they only need 1 sponsorship. And then the 2 times gets pocketed and 1 actually goes to the orphan, right? It's a disaster, absolute disaster. Allah
I'm
understand.
talking about, the disaster in certain countries or even generally in
Yeah.
certain regions. So Street 101, home number 8
Yeah,
or home number 1. They're in the list
Yeah.
of organization A.
yeah.
So today, a group from UK comes to country X or
Yeah.
wherever, and we go door to door.
Yeah,
You're delivering at that location.
yeah.
Tomorrow, there's a group from Texas or from Michigan with Sheikh Mughal Sam
MashaAllah.
and his crew, and they rock up in the same destination.
Yeah,
There's no communication between these organizations.
Yeah.
So they also go to home 1 on Street
correct.
101.
Yeah, Allah understand.
Next day, there's a delegation from Africa, and there may be house 5 who all of them have missed. But some homes are over
Right. Yeah.
serviced, and some are underserviced.
So-
I've seen this with my own eyes.
Yeah. So I think let's highlight another important point over here, and maybe we can transition to something new at this point as well. The objective of zakat is to remove people from poverty. What we're often seeing now is we'll give people just enough to survive so they stay our zakat client.
Oh, really? Is that what happens?
Yeah, Sheikh, when they give them food, they give them food for a month. What
for
are
the whole
these?
year?
Yeah, right. So next month,
I think Shafi mentioned for a lifetime. You can give zakat
Yeah,
to suffice
again,
them for a lifetime.
the point, that's exactly the point though, right? Is to get them out of poverty so that they don't have to be worried about anything else. They can worry about, living
you're
life.
saying they intentionally do it just to keep them as
I'm not gonna say, I can't judge people's intentions, but when I look at the practices, this is what the practices are alluding to. That we want to give people enough to survive, not enough to get them out of poverty, so that our institutions can stay in power. Ideally, we want charity organizations not to exist.
But if poverty is eradicated, the business model doesn't.
Exactly.
There's no business model.
Yeah, there's no business model if there's no poverty, right? So, yeah.
Wallah ghareeb.
Yeah.
Wallah very ghareeb, man. Well, when you look at all those ahadith about sadaqah, well, that's ibadah, which is azim, man.
Of course.
Mighty ibadah, but it's just become commercialized.
Yeah.
To the point where I remember I would feel weird mentioning a virtue of sadaqah. Because it's there's going to be a CTA, a call to action immediately after. So then now we have a link below. Do you get me? But we have no link below other than the link to join the cave. Let's now move into Awqaf. Because I think this institution, and I know you're very passionate about it, Sheikh. We're very, very passionate about it ourselves as well, which is something that capitalism doesn't have any relationship with.
Not at all.
With the institution of a Waqf, right? Which is a self-sustaining and self-producing commercial entity. Can you call it commercial?
It is.
It's a commercial
in the sense that it does conduct business, but not for the sake of profit.
And not for the sake of profit.
Yeah.
It's owned by Allah Azza wa Jal.
Yeah.
And the profit that's
Sorry,
used,
I think it could be for profit, but the
A
not for.
waqf by definition is not for profit.
as in
So
there's no
you're going
shareholder.
to generate, there's no shareholders, there's no money being made for the sake of making money. There's money being made for the sake of dispersion into projects.
So you could make profit, but for
It's surplus.
As in, you have to have a good business model. Yes.
Yeah.
You have a good
Yes,
business
yes,
model.
yes,
Yes.
yes,
Yeah.
okay. That's
So this is something amazing.
Allahumma barak, 100%.
And now I'm actually happy and very pleased that this is a trend that's picking up in the Ummah.
Allahu Akbar. Yes.
Alhamdulillah. Wallahi.
Alhamdulillah.
I spoke with the CEO of Waqf Australia. I'm not sure if you're
MashaAllah.
familiar
Yes.
with it.
Yes.
Remarkable brother, Allah barik. Doing great stuff there. There's a national waqf in the UK.
Yes.
Brother Umar Suleiman from Wahid. And some other amazing people. I'm sure I don't know them, but I know him. They're doing that. MashaAllah. This is the work that you're doing. You're just hearing people I want to set up my own waqf, right? Like this should really, Sheikh, be the way that the da'wah is funded, isn't it?
And historically, this is what it was. Like there was awqaf that were established, that the imams and the masajid and all of this was run through the waqf, right? And that's what you should be doing, ideally, right? We shouldn't have to negotiate individual contracts. Khalas, the waqf will take care of you. That's what should be done, ideally.
So let's dive into this a bit more, Sheikh. And
Sure.
let's just say someone now is like, I want to set this up myself. Like, what are some different models that you've seen? And
So I think each country will have its own legalities. So you have to deal with those legalities. That's
even like
always
setting up an endowment.
exactly.
So Sam can go into that in a second, but I just want to, and
Yeah.
yourself, I'm sure. But
So the basic premise over here is you will now collect wealth for the sake of investing it and distributing it with a set mandate for these particular causes, with these set organizations and institutions, and then that's where the wealth is going. It's not for personal benefit, and it is meant to outlast the individual themselves. So you have the example of Uthman radiallahu ta'ala anhu establishing awqaf, and people continue to benefit it till this day. So this is like the ultimate sadaqah jari that you're trying to establish, that centuries after you die, you're still benefiting from this good deed that you did.
Sheikh, just so, because you're familiar with how it's done in Canada, right?
Yeah.
So if you can walk us through like how the legal formation is in Canada.
Yeah, so you'll basically set it up as a not-for-profit. You'll have a board of trustees on top of it. You have to create a mandate of distribution and a timeline in terms of, after year X, this is when we'll start using the generated wealth. You never touch the capital. You only use the generated wealth for these said projects. And the goal is you keep collecting money into the waqf, and it keeps generating wealth. So you never actually touch the capital. You only touch the gains. Yeah.
can you make half of your business a waqf?
You can, but again, I can't remember who just mentioned it. It's supposed to be owned by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
So
So
if
if
I
you
say-
change your mind later on, you can't change your mind.
can't change your mind.
Yeah.
Let's say, for example, I've given 10% of my shares to Allah Azza wa Jal.
Yeah. So you can make that intention that whatever I earn, I'm going to give
But
it like
let's just
that.
say some people say this is a waqf now. Is it allowed to mix business and waqf?
I think
a
that's
rental. I think
theory.
the question is a rental income property.
Yeah.
Could you say 50% or 10% of the rent should be used should be donated to this waqf, and 50% is for my personal expenses?
So again, that's like an intention that you can make. The intention is perfectly fine, but the legal entity doesn't work like that, right? You can't create a legal entity that is 100% owned by you, but in theory, only half of it is owned by you.
In terms of the
No, you
current-
could have 50% shareholding company A or trust A, personal benefits or beneficiaries, and 50% or whatever percent is owned by the waqf entity.
Excellent. That's perfectly fine. That's not a problem. If you do it that way, yes, that's perfectly fine. So there has to be an actual waqf entity that owns 50% of the business. That's perfectly fine. Yes.
So and shar'an it's allowed. I'm saying it's
Sorry?
shar'an, like
Shut-on, it's allowed.
it's
Yes.
allowed. Okay.
Yeah.
So
So we could create an SPV to
Yes.
hold up the asset, and then that SPV shareholder A is let's say a for-profit entity, and shareholder B is the waqf that's partnering up in
It
that
has to be a
SPV.
separate entity, though.
It's a completely separate entity.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
fine.
Okay,
No
very
problem.
good.
let's just say I set up a waqf,
Yes.
right? I wanna-
Inshallah, you will.
Inshallah. But the surah I'm giving,
Yeah.
I don't want to do the surah, but I'm just presenting a surah, right?
Got you.
So a person sets up a business. He's like, I'm not a capitalist, bro. I want to make money. I want to make good money. I want to have a healthy income.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you know, all the surplus I make, I just want to give it to Allah Azza wa Jalla.
Yeah.
So this company's making, he builds a company. So this company is a waqf.
The
All right?
company itself is a
The
waqf.
company is a waqf, right? I'm
Yeah.
going to build this to, you know, $1 billion company, you know. Now he's the CEO. Is he allowed to pay himself a handsome wage from the income that's generated? Because he's now incentivized to make sure that he's a skilled practitioner, a skilled operator. And someone like him is needed to run this company that's generating so much money. But at the same time now, he's like, I want to...
Man, you love encroaching the boundaries. That's all I can say. Sheikh, if this person is so talented and gifted and they want to do khair and create a waqf, my God, why do you want to take your salary from your waqf?
But then
Go earn it somewhere else.
the waqf won't grow as well.
Tayyib, khalas, then build your waqf. Take what you need to survive from it, but don't give yourself a handsome salary. Like build a waqf, make it self-sustaining, put all these systems in place that it can run itself. And mashallah, you're so talented. Have you go run your own business?
Like I
I think the other model works better here then, where you have the profit and the non-profit owning.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the
Segregates.
yeah. So the
Because I hear where you're coming from.
so the for-profit
You know,
company is the
don't taint
operator, the manager.
Exactly.
The waqf.
Yeah.
because
He says keep the waqf pure, don't taint it.
like as in I want to set up a bunch of awqaf in my life, inshallah ta'ala,
Inshallah.
right? Different companies, but you also want to get the best practitioners, right? And those guys are
And
going to
get the best practitioner, Sheikh. No problem. But don't make yourself the best practitioner.
okay, forget me,
Right.
But can I pay the CEO
But without a shadow of a doubt.
$1
Without a shadow of a
and it's a
doubt.
waqf
Not a problem
from
at
the
all.
money that's generated from the
Not a problem. Because it's not zakat
But for my
collection.
iman, I should stay away from it.
If for your own waqf, yes.
alhamdulillah.
For your own waqf, yes.
I love that.
Okay,
Yeah,
perfect.
I love
yeah.
that.
You become the chairman, Sheikh, like a chairman of the board of advisors, whatever.
Yeah.
But the person, the CEO running it,
It's
is
separate.
day to
Yeah,
day. Yeah.
So Sheikh, so you've got a lot of experience with different, you know, awqaf.
Yeah.
And I've heard you mention that some of these, you know, awqaf could and perhaps might have invested in agriculture.
Yes.
And
100%.
pistachio farms bring healthy returns.
Amazing returns. You'll be surprised.
So I'm interested because there could be the business model,
Yeah.
but then there could be like the fund model, right? Where there's money and where we've got a wealth manager
Yeah.
that's investing this money.
Yeah.
All the money that's made is going to be charity,
Yeah.
but you want to obviously now make sure you're investing in the place where the returns are safe, but they're also as high as possible.
Correct.
So yeah, pistachio farms crazy.
Yeah. So pistachio farms and oranges, you would be surprised how much income they generate. Yeah, Sheikh. So you basically go into a land that is fertile enough, that is has the environment to grow these products. You find a farmer that will work for you. You pay him an amazing wage because you're about to make amazing money. And the natural, you know, trajectory of these commodities is that they just keep increasing.
I'm curious, like how much of one's portfolio should they assign to something like that?
As an investment or as a waqf?
From a waqf perspective.
From a waqf perspective, you can create your own mandate, yes, Sheikh. So
But
you
I
can-
mean from like a risk mitigation perspective, like is that considered low risk, high risk?
I would consider it mid-risk because you're always exposed to like pests. You're always exposed to like weather. You know, you're exposed to supply chain issues of transportation and it going spoiled and those things. So it was mid to high risk for sure, but the returns are amazing.
Would that be like a 5%, 10%, 20%?
no, Sheikh? You're looking at like, you know,
1%?
30% and above.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm betting.
Yeah.
But that's pretty risky, isn't it?
Again, there's risk involved, but it's
Yeah.
like, you know, high risk, high return sort of situation.
So then I guess
But what I like about it is
30% return on capital or a 30%
allocation.
no 30% risk on capital, Sheikh. 30% return on capital.
No, he's talking about not allocation.
Oh,
on
no,
capital.
no.
He's talking about
I'm
return on
talking
capital.
about allocation.
Yeah.
Oh,
No, farming is better.
allocation. You can decide, yes, Sheikh. Like I said, it's up to your risk appetite, right? So certain awqaf will take a
Higher
minimal
risk tolerance,
risk.
someone will-
Other awqaf will take a very high risk.
So
Like
if you're
cryptocurrency.
advising me, what would you say? You said, Imran, this waqf.
So I would make this decision
Agriculture.
based upon the mandate. So like if you have a lot of people dependent whose salaries you're giving, you have to have a more conservative approach. But if you're like, you know what, we want to develop institutions 20 years from now, so you have a long time ahead of you, be as risky as possible.
Really?
Yeah.
How risky? Because I like risk. I'm like blind. Yeah, honestly.
But I think like
To the point where it's unhealthy.
You have dopamine junkies and they're like, khalas, 100% cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
No, that's bad investment strategy.
I want to say I'm a
right?
junkie. I
No, I wasn't talking about you, Sheikh. Please forgive me. I did not intend that at all.
I'm a French fries junkie.
Yeah, French fries junkie.
Recovering currently.
Wafakakallah.
Chocolate junkie recovering.
Yeah, I was going to say chocolate.
Yeah,
more
chocolate.
than French
So,
fries.
so look, I think when you're looking at allocations, real estate is very solid, and I would say that is a good chunk of it. Stock markets are pretty conservative as well, and then you have the cryptocurrencies, then you have venture capitalism, then you have equity capitalism, and all
So let's
those
just
things.
say I want to stay completely away from sukuk and equities.
So you should stay away from sukuk. I don't think sukuk is a good investment product, nor is it a good Islamic product. Yeah.
Jameel.
Yeah.
So and I also personally just want to stay away from equities. Like as in me personally, I'm not convinced.
Yeah.
And now the
Sure,
risk.
when you say equities, I think you're talking about public traded equities.
Yeah, I'm talking about stocks. Yeah, stock market.
just
Stock, not business.
because you could do private equity.
Yes, yes. No, I'm not talking about. I'm talking about stock market, right? With the even like with the Sharia compliance standards.
Yeah.
I prefer to stay away from that. So now,
Can we talk about something positive very, very quickly?
yes, of course.
Saudi Arabia is opening up their stock market
Yes.
for public trading today. Actually, today February 1st?
Yes, yes.
Today's February 1st.
Yeah, yeah.
Today is the first day that the
We
Saudi
missed
stock market
talking about it, Sheikh. We had it in one of the topics, remember?
Yeah.
So we'll pivot to it in a second.
No, we don't have to talk about
No,
it.
no comment.
No, this is
Yeah,
relevant.
he said, we talked pre-podcast, we were speaking about it.
Yeah.
He said, I will have no comment on it.
He's not touching it. Huh?
No comment.
No comment. That's the whole point. No comment.
Join the cave, we'll tell you.
In the island.
On the island.
On the island, inshallah.
Halal island.
Alhamdulillah. Okay, but so Sheikh, yeah. So like, as in, can I have a Waqf portfolio?
Yeah.
That is safe. It's not high risk.
Yeah.
And I'm not touching the publicly traded stocks. I'm not
Yeah.
purchasing any of these.
So, look, I think put all of this aside, the best source of income generation is business. Beyond investments is business.
Correct.
Your ability to be an entrepreneur is the best source of income that you can do, Islamically and
Highest return.
and just highest return, right?
100%.
So that's the best way to do it. Create businesses, put them in your Waqf, and khalas. That's it.
Private equity, basically.
Private equity, yeah.
It's a lot of work, though. And scaling it is hard. Like if I've got 100 mil,
Sure,
you can't deploy it easily. And
Yeah.
No, you could go to a well-established. You could go to Sam and say to Sam, you know what? I've got $10 million to spend.
you manage it on my behalf.
You're raising capital from the public. I'm buying X shares. But you know what? Actually give me a good entry and look after me because
Right.
it's actually you're actually getting rewarded for looking after these funds.
I'm just thinking, like, let's say we raise 100 mil. Because I think we've got the capacity to do that, inshallah, in a very short period of time.
Bi'idhnillahi ta'ala.
Right?
Inshallah.
Because that's partially because of the people, but also because 100 million is going to be nothing in a couple of months.
Okay, well,
They had a couple of more zeros in.
as in a significant amount of money.
Yeah, inshallah.
Inshallah ta'ala. Like 100 million worth today in terms of purchasing power. I think
Inshallah,
we can raise that
ta'ala.
bi'idhnillah.
Inshallah.
Bi'idhnillah. But it's just where will we deploy it? Because stock, like in the stock market, it's easy. 70% straight, quick, done.
Even in the
super-
stock market, you can't put in 100 million like
Can't
that.
just
Yes,
drop
yeah.
it in.
Because this would really impact the market, right? Yeah.
One impact, and then
100
you'd
At
no.
one time, be 100%.
No, you break. My point is throughout the year we can break it up.
Yeah, you got to
right?
DC.
Yeah.
Anything
Yeah.
you have to
Yes,
DC.
but as in to like invest in like other opportunities, how would you do it at scale?
Shit,
And also
there's
mitigate
more
risk.
good businesses short of cash than there's spare cash available.
So you're saying private equity model, huh?
Combination, we can chat offline, but you would have no problem finding good houses for your capital.
You know.
That's not the issue.
Okay. And it can be safe
Very safe.
because that's not
Basically, our brother Ibrahim is saying, let's raise the capital first.
Hold on. I think
Tomorrow, leave that.
We'll park it.
day, brother.
Yeah, that will park it. Don't worry about parking it.
That's tomorrow's problem.
Yeah, that's what he's saying. Let's raise the capital now.
I love it.
No. Sheikh, genuinely. I mean, just from my conversations with yourself, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Sam's got a good business. You mentioned to me a couple of good businesses in the UK who are good friends of yours and, very Islamically inclined. One was a chicken franchise, etc. I'm sure the brother, if you went to him and told him, this is Waqf money now, we want to buy some steak. Hey, you got no hesitancy putting some funds there, right? And businesses like that. Obviously, you got to have a guy, a wealth manager now who's looking at the financials every month and understanding the business. There's some protocol, but there's houses for your capital.
No, you're right. Absolutely. The question I'm trying to work out here is the mitigation of risk.
But
You can go different. So then you're diversifying in industry.
Asset classes, yeah.
So we need a wealth manager that understands alternative asset classes to that level, man. That's the issue.
Yeah, and you have specialists in that, right?
Okay, so we need to talk because
as in, like, I'll tell you the model for one of the places that I consult for. We have a round table of advisors.
Okay.
So one's specialized in cryptocurrency, the other one in agriculture, the other one in venture capitalism, and we all come together.
Board.
Exactly. Then we have an Amir at the table that makes the decision at the end. Right, so you present your best opportunities. We debate it amongst
investment committee.
Investment committee, exactly that.
you said that the other day. Too.
Yeah, and then you debate it out.
Exactly.
We choose amongst ourselves. The Amir makes the decision, and khalas, you move
Sheikh,
forward.
I think just one question, Sheikh. What should be done first in order for Awqaf? I think the mandate has to be created first, right? What are we trying to
exactly?
support?
What are you using it for? What are we
using it for? And then I think we do reverse engineering and figure out what asset will support.
Exactly. And your
I think jurisdiction.
Appetite will be based on that.
Exactly.
Will be based on that. Yeah.
Jurisdiction, which is a friendly jurisdiction?
For building a Waqf. I don't know.
From a safe legal perspective.
Like I haven't looked at that. Like, should we go to Monaco? Should we go to the Cayman Islands? Those sort of things I haven't looked at. I've always looked at
Seychelles Fund.
People of a country building it in that country, right?
Yeah, I'm very averse to that.
Yeah.
You're averse to that.
I like foundation X country, operating company Y, banking account somewhere else, residency somewhere else.
Yeah.
Solid.
You said diversify that as well. Okay, so let's move on to gold and silver.
Allahu Akbar.
What's happening in the markets, Sam?
No, the Sheikh has more insight actually. Yeah, we had a little bit discussion today morning.
Ask a question, like, what do you want me to talk about?
What's happening? There's a lot of noise about gold. You know what I love about this?
Yeah.
Sorry, Sheikh, before you move off topic to what Sheikh mentioned earlier, just on the Waqf, sorry to interject.
No problem.
It's a sin, honestly, the lack of information about this product in the Ummah.
Of this setup. Yes, absolutely.
That it
Like, this is our heritage. This is our
heritage. This is the benefits, etc.
Yeah.
It could have saved me. I'm not talking about the safety, but I mean, it could have gone for good use.
Yes.
I could have saved on my tax bill $10 million. Had I understood Waqf in conjunction with the taxation laws in my country at the time.
Right.
And you get rewarded. Inshallah, if your intention.
100%.
And that tax savings could have been
instead
put
of giving
back
it
into
to the government,
it could have been put back into the
promote
hegemony.
Yeah.
All the alphabets.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, we could have been building masajid then. Doing things,
funding
good
du'at
things.
and tulab al-ilm and building think tanks and
This is what we need to figure out first, by the way, Sheikh, the mandate. What are we doing with the endowment?
Yeah.
The best mandate I see now, I honestly don't catch what you told you this. I don't care about the beneficiaries today. Ultimate beneficiaries are two individuals. We'll mention them off camera.
I'm so interested.
Me too. Only two individuals.
The beneficiaries of today, you can
I know exactly who we. Yes. I
should reach there. Who gets it today, we don't get.
Inshallah khair. Inshallah khair.
That's about Ibrahim, by the way.
Please leave that.
لكن حقيقة, may Allah grant us tawfiq. Amin.
Amin.
So, gold and silver.
Yes, Sheikh. So I think let's understand how they're used financially.
Sheikh knows his stuff, huh? Sheikh knows
No, brilliant.
Allah very.
La ilaha illallah. Tawfiq is from
The
Allah.
most educational
Yes,
Yeah.
we're students.
Sunday
are,
night
we all
in
are.
the brain. You
Yeah, that's why I'm
waking
talking,
up
I'm
the
just
brain.
listening. Yeah,
We all are.
Alhamdulillah.
Barakallahu feekum.
Barakallah.
So I think let's understand how they're used financially. So financially, gold has always been used as an inflation hedge.
Uh-huh.
So as inflation gets worse, you preserve the power of purchase through holding gold. Now, in its essence, gold should be, and we're going to get into the Islamic side, hand in hand, amount for amount. That's meant to take place. But capitalism comes into the equation and says, why would we trade hand in hand, amount for amount, when we can trade paper for paper? Once you get paper involved, you can manipulate markets. So if you look at actual research that's been conducted, the gold and silver markets have been heavily, heavily manipulated to suppress its price. So now what has eventually ended up happening, the US dollar price of gold and silver has shot up because manipulation has been minimized. The value of the dollar has
Oh, it's been minimized?
It has, because it's been exposed now, right? That this is what's been going on, right?
Okay.
So that's one thing. Then number two, the value of the dollar just keeps going down. Then number three, they also use it as a mechanism for protecting against international risk. Right? And this is where you see a lot of the central banks, they're purchasing up gold right now to protect their own currencies as well. So that's the function of gold. Silver, it has part of those properties, but it actually has like utility as well. Like you need it to build like solar panels, you need to build cell phones. It's used for a variety of things. The thing with silver, there's such a shortage of the supply that there's more silver on ground than there is underneath the ground. Like understand that. There's more silver on ground than there is underneath the ground. So now as we're expanding our technology, we're going to have to find a replacement for silver sooner or later. So
okay. So we've extracted most of it.
we've extracted most, like we've passed that.
How do we know that?
Geologists have their special ways of doing that.
Okay.
But that's created an amount of scarcity as well. So now over here, because it has that anti-inflationary hedge and it also has this utility, that's another thing that's happened. Now, historically, gold and silver have had a ratio of like 16-1. That was like pretty healthy. And they'd reached a point where you could get like 1 ounce of gold would be like 100 ounces of silver, like a huge disparity. So you knew sooner or later it had to catch up. Now, let's get, again, this distinction between physical and paper. In Shanghai, to buy a physical ounce of gold is $130. The paper market was selling for like $60, like literally half.
Okay.
Manipulation, right? The paper market is being manipulated,
yeah,
right?
100%.
So all of that to say, at a certain point when you can no longer manipulate the market enough, and this is where like democratization of investment is so wild. Like I know this is not a topic of our discussion, but actually look at how they used GameStop. People on Reddit just came, created an army and said, we're gonna, I don't know what the polite word is over here.
Stock.
Yeah, meme stock, but they were like, we're gonna screw over the big banks, and they actually did it.
They did
They made one go bankrupt.
This is what you were talking about the other day?
No, this was
Yeah.
some time back.
Yeah.
Explain. I'm not privy.
So these big corporations, they will intentionally destroy companies. So they purchase up all of their stocks, and then they want to just sell it for parts. Right, so their marketing department sells this, their assets get sold over here, and they just break it up for parts. And they literally destroy businesses like that. So there was this one company called GameStop. Their main business is selling video games and stations to play those video games on. And one guy said, you know what? I love this company. And I think he worked there at one point as well. I'm going to expose this, and I'm going to create an army to prevent them from doing this. So they have something called short selling, where you're betting against stock and you want to see its demise. You want to see it destroyed. You counter this by going long, right? And that's what he did. He created an army of people that were going along that forced these people to sell their short positions, and they lost billions of dollars. And one major corporation ended up going bankrupt because of that.
Now, exactly same thing happening with silver now. You know this.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what's happening here.
31st of December 25.
Yeah.
1st of Jan.
Yeah.
2nd of Jan. Close to $100 billion was used to bail out the margin calls.
Yes. Yeah.
Right? It prevented 2 banks going bankrupt.
Yeah. Again, like there's so much going on behind the scenes that you wouldn't think this is real. But again, this is all like when you have no moral compass, you have no one to hold you accountable, and you feel as if you have power and the right to use that power by any means necessary. This is what ends up happening. So now let's look at the currency, because I know this is what everyone wants to talk about. Silver going down 33% in one day. Like, how does that happen?
When did that happen?
Day before yesterday, or
Oh,
3 days
really?
ago.
When did that
Yeah.
Silver and gold, 15 trillion wiped out?
Yeah,
in the,
altogether in
in
precious
the,
metals. 15 trillion, yes, Sheikh. 15 trillion.
in a day.
Yeah, in a
In
single day.
metals. Yeah.
But
But it's because of manipulation.
Oh, 100%.
Hello.
So again, a couple of things happened when, so the threat that Iran was about to be attacked became public news. And then I think something actually happened in Iran that was unrelated to the attack, but someone ended up dying, and then people panicked. Whenever there's international panic, people do a liquidity pull. They take out from their assets and then they hold cash and cash equivalent products. So that pulls out from the market, but particularly those that are considered risky investments. Cryptocurrencies and precious metals always get hit the most because they're considered one of the riskiest classes of investments. So with this international event happening, with the liquidity pull happening, and with the drastic incline of its price, it was like the perfect recipe for a $15 trillion crash. All that to say, something still happened. The price in Shanghai did not budge a lot.
Really?
Yes. So even though you had a decline on the paper market, it went from $117 per ounce of silver to I think $79 per ounce of silver. Like that's the jump that it had on the paper market. In the physical market, it went from 130 to I think like 104. Right?
Interesting.
So, and again, like this is for our investors. Like pay attention to this, because if there's a disconnect between the physical and the paper, there's a very high potential of you will catch up and you'll minimize your risk over here, because it has to meet somewhere in the middle.
So is
Someone's going to take delivery at some point, right?
Oh yeah, exactly.
Or get wiped out.
Yeah. Exactly.
And when that happens, metals would skyrocket. So
Exactly.
the long term is still bullish.
Yeah.
Sheikh, understand this. On a computer screen, Sam and I are manipulating the market and saying, well, silver should be trading at $80 or $70.
Mm-hmm.
But you guys are in the physical world. You're going counter to counter. And you're literally taking possession. And you guys are saying, to hell with what you and Sam. I'm not selling below $130.
Yeah.
And you say, well, actually, I checked everywhere else and I can't get it below 130.
And the US
I'm fine
Mint,
to pay you 130.
the US Mint,
suspended
the US Mint
trade.
suspended trade.
Yes.
When it did reopen, it was selling at $132. Yeah. So yeah.
So the physical, generally, paper would dictate or paper would lead physical.
Yeah.
So
It's
the lesson
reversed.
here is buy physical.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, Vishal, buying paper is not buying, right? That's gambling.
Yeah. So paper that has no actual asset and it's not specified.
So, Sheikh,
It
what's
should-
your
No,
take
even
on
the
gold
ETF,
ETFs?
Sheikh.
Gold
Yeah.
ETFs, I was going to just ask.
No, okay.
ETFs.
So-
Gold ETFs.
Yeah. So I think let's talk about that.
Please, Sheikh. That would be great.
So when you buy physical, you have two main challenges. Number one is security, and number two is dealing with the weight of carrying it around. Those are the big challenges that you have. So as you become wealthier, you can't just keep carrying bars of gold wherever you go, and that exposes you to the risk of anyone robbing you at any one given time. So the safe mechanism is they've created an electronically traded fund. The proper way to do this is that you have it in a secured vault. It has a serial number. The serial number matches the certificate. So if it's 1 ounce on the paper, 1 ounce with that serial number has to exist in the
that
vault,
vault.
right? So that when you're selling, it is amount for amount at the same time. Now, the challenge always is the delivery point, right? You order it today. If it's in Switzerland, you're not going to get same day delivery. It's not possible. So the Sharia requirement is the change of ownership, and possession can take its time. So as long as you get full ownership of the asset, you can delay the possession. That's not a problem. But the ownership should not be delayed.
So the milk has to be there. The qabd can be
Later.
delayed.
Yes. Yeah. So the ETFs, as long as they fulfill those requirements, which some of them actually do, that they're serialized. It's a very specified amount with a number. And that's what they buy.
But how
and
is
they
this
limit
different
it.
to what you're talking about, which was publicly, which is paper?
So, Sheikh,
How's this-
I'm
what's the-
generally very
Skeptical. I get that.
anti paper.
I get
In
that.
anything, be
Of
it
course.
stocks, I love physical. Comes with its challenges.
Yeah.
But it's mine. You
Exactly.
shoot me if I
Yeah.
no problem. Shoot me if I take it.
Yeah.
When I'm gone, you can have it. Right?
Correct.
No,
Yes.
no sweat.
Yeah.
But paper, more often than not, you can get scammed. And
I don't think you can get scammed. The scam's not the issue. The Sharia compliance is the issue.
So one is Sharia compliance, but the other is the same. We're talking about it's open for manipulation. It's open for a lot of them are not serialized, not asset backed.
Yeah,
right.
And that's the Sharia compliance that I'm talking about.
No. So if you stick with those, somewhat better. But I love physical.
Gold, yeah.
So but there is a solution. There are bullion traders or vaults available in Singapore and elsewhere.
Yeah.
I believe some here. There's one, Basit can check it out. I think it's called Silver Bullion dot something in SG.
Yeah.
So they would do exactly this. They would do an audit, at least monthly, that your bar is there.
Correct.
You could take position anytime you want.
Correct.
And if you had to liquidate, you could do a peer-to-peer trade.
Right.
Or Sharia compliance on this would have to be questioned, but you could actually borrow against as well on gold.
You're borrowing gold on gold or cash fiat on gold?
Fiat on gold. Now, I'm saying that compliance on that would have to be checked. I'm not an expert. I'm not suggesting anyone do that.
Yeah.
But I'm saying it sorts out security. You don't have to borrow. Right?
But this is exactly what the ETF does, Sheikh. Oh, so this is what some of the ETFs will do.
Yeah. But these are specialized. You can walk in anytime and take possession. The ETFs, most of them, you cannot go take possession.
Most of the ETFs, you can't take possession. That is correct.
And that's the problem.
Yeah.
Because when
No, but as in, is taking possession a Sharia requirement? Not necessarily.
From a risk perspective, for me and my worldview, I need to be able to take it.
But he's saying when push comes to shove, like what happens?
I'm saying a day is going to come, you're not going to have fiat to trade.
Yeah.
Right. So you're going to trade in gold and silver.
Yeah.
You want it in your hand. Because that day, your ETF is gone and the fund manager or the broker for the ETF is gone with your gold. You're not going to find it.
So I know this is a Muslim podcast and we're not going to swear, but I'll let people figure this out for themselves. But they have something called SHTF. And that is the worst case scenario in humanity. Like zombies literally come and attack you. We've lost technology. And people physically prepare for this. So in the United States, they have bunkers. They buy guns. They buy canned foods that are non-perishable. And then they've also bought gold and silver because the time will come where dollars will no longer be used, but gold and silver will always retain its value. And I think that's sort of like what you're describing.
That's what I'm talking about.
Now, the likelihood of something like this happening, while it may be possible, it is not probable, right?
I see it coming.
It seems like more probable than ever.
Wallahu ta'ala alam. Wallahu ta'ala. I know there's certain hadith that allude to the fact that war will turn back to fighting on horses and usages of swords. But is that at an international scale or a localized scale? That's something that needs to be looked at.
The hadith and the Messenger said that, if I'm not mistaken, at Constantinople, when Dajjal when the announcement of Dajjal comes, the horseman will ride from there. Was it to Sham or to the Haramain to announce that the Dajjal has been seen?
Allahu alam, Sheikh. I don't know.
And I forget the wording of the hadith, but the indicate as in they will travel by horse to make the announcement.
But again, this could also be understood as kinaya, right? In the sense of had the Prophet described an airplane, they're like, Ya Rasulullah, what's an airplane?
But he said, I know the color of their horses.
True. As in, again, I think this could be literal as you're mentioning it, but it could also be kinaya, right? Wallahu alam. I don't know. Like it's not something that I think is a big deal, if that makes sense at the end of the day.
So to me, the utility for gold and silver or hard assets is its utility in the times of crisis.
Right.
It's not. It's a store of value. It's not an investment.
Yes.
And a bit. You're not putting in a large portion of your portfolio into it.
Right.
You should put a percentage of your portfolio, actually a small percentage of your portfolio.
Yes.
Because this is the worst case. Right. So if it is the worst case, then you want it. You want to have access to it, and you want to be hence I'm coming from that view.
And I completely get that. And on the practical level, I think, probably have a couple of ounces in numerical denominations, a tenth, a 20th, stuff that's
you're not going to take the 1 kg bar.
You don't that's exactly the
milk
point.
And bread.
Your
right?
1 kg bar should be in the vault with this paper certificate, and your small denominations, khalas, keep those in your house if a scenario ever comes like that, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. Yeah.
So with the market wiping out, we say 13 trillion?
15 trillion got wiped out.
15 trillion. Should people be
I
buying
think
up gold and silver?
I think it's the time to buy.
So I think we always have to give a disclaimer that this is not financial advice.
Yeah.
You always have to give that.
Yeah.
But I think, again, if we really believe in this concept, number one, in the shift of transition of wealth from west to east and the US dollar no longer being the reserve currency in the world, you need to hedge against that.
Mm-hmm.
Gold, silver, crypto, is one of the ways of doing that. Your risk appetite should dictate how much that should be.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it needs to be a lot higher than the traditional 5%.
So the dropping, I'm going to come to it so I can see.
No.
I can see
I'm
what
not
happens.
good.
You're looking at it from can we make money off of this trade?
No, so I was speaking with a brother, right?
Yeah.
A young brother from the UK. And he's been buying up silver. But he's the youngest, mashallah, they're doing their thing. And there was some like extra expenses or charges in the UK that he was trying to avoid. He wanted to buy it from here. I forget the specifics. And he was like, can you buy for me?
Yeah.
I'll send you the money, buy. And the market was just skyrocketing at the time. So I said, I'm not an expert when it comes to this stuff. I said, right now things are a bit volatile. Like if you buy high and then it drops, you're going to be really upset.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Like, do you want to wait a bit? No, it's going up. Trust me. So on and so forth. Anyway, I didn't. I just ignored his messages. I thought the safer thing to do is for me to not play a part in this. But now it's gone down by 30%. These guys are stressed.
So interesting thing.
So should they still be buying?
Even though it's gone down 30% overall year to date. Remember, this is just
It's
the end
still
of
up.
January. It's up 19%.
Yeah, that's
So if you bought it on January 1st till now,
that's-
even after 33% crash, you're still up 19%.
Oh, you're still up 19%.
You're still up 19% in 1 month, Sheikh.
Oh, wow, a long time.
Right? Not year, in 1 month.
No, and the market's always done this, right? So I was having a conversation with Abu Bakr the other day, and we were debating, buy, sell, whatever. And historically, whenever gold or silver had a huge rally, it had a 30-40% correction immediately thereafter. It's been there numerous times.
Yeah.
So keep buying gold, silver.
Not financial
Not
advice, but
financial
yes,
advice,
increase
but
your exposure to it.
Okay.
Yes.
I love that you mentioned that.
Yeah.
So crypto, you said crypto.
Yeah.
He's got a thing against crypto.
No problem. Bring Sheikh Muawiyah.
I haven't arranged that yet, which is it's going to be interesting fireworks. when we do that.
Inshallah.
But go on, Sheikh.
No, I don't want to debate you on it, but same. I want the physical tangibility or to utilize it in times of crisis. And if the missiles come and the network's off, you cannot connect to your exchange, or you cannot transfer from your core hard wallet as well. And from that perspective, I am against it.
Fair, Sheikh. This is a matter of preference.
Yeah, I know.
As in, like,
So I'm not going to
I have
debate you.
nothing to say to that. If that's your preference, alhamdulillah. But I also like to think that, like, let's reflect on what's happened in our life, where we become so dependent on external mechanisms. Again, if we're storing our wealth now, we put it in the bank, we use a debit card. Like in these scenarios that you're describing, if all of this happens, everything's lost, Sheikh.
Yeah.
You're right. Like, unless you have it under your bed, you're done. Yeah.
No. So hence the shift to hard assets.
That's exactly, and I completely get that. I completely get
100%.
that. Yeah.
No, the other thing
you don't
is
agree with it, Sheikh?
I don't agree with it because,
Why
like
not?
I said, like all of these scenarios, at least for me, my personal perspective, they're localized. They're not international. Like, I don't see a world that the whole entire world loses electricity. Right? I don't see a world where the whole entire world becomes zombies. Like all of these scenarios.
to him,
they're
the
localized.
probability is not there.
Yeah.
That's his perspective.
Sheikh's not paranoid.
Or maybe
Super optimistic.
that might be super optimistic or overconfident in the system.
So
Yeah.
he believes 100% real estate. So what's coming?
No.
No, you do.
Not 100% real estate.
Well, a
Sheikh.
little bit of cash.
Yeah, no. So for
Sorry, sir, before you go to the real
Negligible
estate,
amount of cash.
Sheikh, I'm gonna, not an attack.
No, not exactly. yeah, it's all good.
I love this. Go on.
Crypto, Sheikh.
Yes.
And I was surprised. So I think, and again, I don't have any data for it, but I look at trends and patterns and people saying things and hearing, and when I'm talking to people, I'm talking to leaders, right?
Yeah.
And oddly enough, you sent me a note the other day about But Trump says the financial system has failed, and we should look at digital
currencies.
Digital currency.
Yeah.
And to me, all indications, and even before I've even read that, I think crypto was the teaser, or Bitcoin was the teaser, where it sold this dream of anonymity out of the central institutions,
Central bank's grip.
central bank's grip, no taxation, instant and low fees, and this was the hook. Another example, but only use it for a drug dealer. But anyway, so now that guys are hooked in and pulled in and in, what's happened? Fees are expensive to transact, more than traditional methods. KYC is there, so you're no more anonymous. Taxations come in, and more and more you're becoming part of the central system rather than
government adoption.
And so
Government
government and big fund adoption. So you're becoming part of the institute. You're no longer out of it. So to me, it was a whole scam to desensitize people and get them there. And once they're there, shift them to digital currencies, which is now coming in any day. Well, they're all creating it very soon on the demise of the fiat currencies as we know them. We will have so the guinea pigs. The system is there. We had a group of people, the guinea pigs, who tested out the rails on the system. Now we can put the whole world into digital currency. So the dollar, as you know it today, doesn't exist. It was always it became a zero on a computer screen. It's now a piece of code on a ledger, and I see that coming.
So who strategically came together to plan this?
Epstein.
No.
He sent emails out to his
This
friends.
is my analysis and take. And if you ask me to back it up, I'm not going to be able to.
Yeah.
But it's just my read
hypothesis,
of things.
which I think is possible. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's completely impossible. But again, the likelihood of it, Sheikh, there's too many pieces of the puzzle that need to fall into place at the same time together for it to be manipulatable and controllable like
So
that.
you can bleep this, right?
Yeah.
Please bleep this. There is some news articles which I'll have to pull them out. Does show a
Real estate. So you differ with our entire panel.
No, it's not like that. Sheikh.
Don't invest in private equity. No gold, no silver, no crypto.
No. It's not
land.
true. It's not true at all,
Dirt.
Sheikh. It's not true. It's a misunderstood. I'm a misunderstood man.
Okay.
highly misunderstood, it seems.
Yeah.
I get messages of wealth managers watching the content saying, just like sending me long refutations on Sam. I'm like, come and defend yourself on the panel, brother.
Allah musta'an.
But they're so kind and nice to me when I see them.
That's the worst. That is the worst. La ilaha illallah. No, preference for one asset class, it does not deny value of another asset class.
No, of course.
No.
Right? That's purely it.
No, my thing is, Sheikh, very
We
important.
can agree
thing.
to disagree, 100%,
Yeah, exactly.
respectfully.
I very much agree with one thing Brother Ibrahim mentioned. Like overall, and this is what I'm about to say is not for everyone, but when you're to a point self-sufficient where you're not relying on any of the creations, you only rely on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, like how you opened with the hadith, Sheikh. At that point, you have to think of few things, right? One is, for me, it's more than asset diversification, it's jurisdiction diversification. I want to be fluid, man.
Yeah.
I want to have multiple passports. I want to have multiple bank accounts in multiple jurisdictions. I want to have multiple residencies. Fluid, because the world is a crazy place right now. And especially if you're online, if you're speaking, it's crazier for you. Anything could be done anytime with you and whatnot. Literally more than asset diversification is jurisdiction diversification, right? Number two, for assets, I live a very simple life in the sense that no debt, literally just cut off your debt, spend under your means, and just keep buying assets.
Allahu Akbar. I
Have
love
some
that
gold
so much. I love
and
that so
simple.
much.
That's why I don't know what's happening, Sheikh. I actually genuinely, I know of what's happening. I shouldn't say it that way, but I feel like, okay, I don't care what happens in a month, in 2 months. I'm going to keep buying gold, a little bit of it every year forever, inshallah. I really don't care what happens today, what happens next year, what happens last year. You know, because I'm going to do that. Majority is going to be in assets in real estate. And third thing, Sheikh, and this is, mashallah, like through this panel and podcast and our discussions, I'm investing in farmland in Bangladesh.
Allahumma barik.
So literally, you become, that's the only way you're truly...
Is this from the last episode?
On Fuchsia, I think you've been discussing that for a year. Like offline, you've been discussing that. So we have some land in Bangladesh. Like we all do something in back home, right?
Some cows.
So, and it actually supports the local economy.
Which you
cows,
have to do,
you know, goats, chickens, and ducks, and some fish as well.
Allah better. Fish as well. You had to. I was going to say you had to.
Come on, you're Bengalis,
Can't be Bengali if you don't.
They gotta do some fish for me, you know. So, subhanAllah, Sheikh, now, you know,
Plus some green chilies as well.
Yes, green chili. Absolutely, green chilies,
What's it called again?
tomatoes.
It's called, there's a name for it.
We have not fixed the name yet, Sheikh, but...
No, for the chilies.
Maurice.
Wow, that sounds intense.
Yeah, Maurice.
Even the way you looked at me when you said it, was like, this is going to burn, brother.
Naga is what you... Naga, the ghost pepper.
Ghost pepper.
Ghost pepper. But the thing is, and then don't worry about like end of times. This is happening today, tomorrow, because you're set for the worst case scenario. Then just produce what you have.
Take your means and then the
take your exactly. Reach your highest potential. Help people. Do good. Be ethical. Other things, but you know you're set in terms of those things.
Allahumma barik. May Allah bless you for you, Sheikh. I love that so much. MashaAllah.
As the Messenger said, if you know the hour is going to be established tomorrow, you have seed in your hand. Planted today.
Planted, Sheikh. Yeah.
Business as usual.
Yeah.
Until it's not.
Yes, Sheikh.
Till next time.
I'm laughing because of the reputation thing you said.
Which reputation?
The real estate.
Yeah.
But I don't do personally also. I'll say that. I don't do stocks personally. But I am invested a lot in private equity. A lot of car wash businesses, pharmacies, medical centers in the US. I told you, Sheikh. So private equity, businesses. I love. VC, I have not yet. I always found it to be too risky, or I'm just like fearful, man. I don't know. But with Brother Wael, inshallah, something soon. I have not done any VC. So private equity, real estate, some gold and chilling, you know.
Allah better. And some naga chilies.
Stay like that.
Alhamdulillah. I know you like that.
I've done the VC. See, I've made all the mistakes you want to make.
Yeah,
I've done the stocks. I've done the VCs. I've done all that.
He's a hard asset, man.
I've learned painful lessons not to do it.
You know, a man wrote to Imam Malik rahimahullah, and he says, why do you just keep focus on teaching? Like, why do you not focus more on, you know, the acts of ibadah, like tahajjud, qiyamul layl and stuff like that? Imam Malik rahimahullah, he writes back by saying that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has facilitated the paths to Jannah. For me, He facilitated the learning and teaching of knowledge, and for you, He facilitated the act of ibadah, but they're both heading in the same direction.
100%. No, certainly. There's each one has a preference. What you're comfortable with. There's no mandate.
Of course, 100%. Yeah.
Barakallah feek.
Barakallah.
This was a lovely conversation.
Jazakumullah khair for facilitating and hosting.
Oh, Jazakallah khair for honoring us, Sheikh, with this.
Really learned a lot.
Just to end on a light note, Sheikh, I was telling Sheikh he needs to, mashallah, work on his YouTube channel. So much that he needs to speak.
That's not my forte, so I look forward to your help on that.
Yes, actually, literally, like he is.
No, you know who can really help you with that?
Inshallah, it's sort of like. Are we done with the podcast?
So we can conclude, or we can carry on.
No, as in,
no, it's soft talk.
I want to talk about that, right? Because like in my life, I want to focus on teaching. You know, one thing I really love about Sam is that anything that can be outsourced, he outsources. I want to be able to do that, right? Whereas khalas, I want to be able to pay someone, just do what you have to do. Let me focus on teaching.
We're going to build it, inshallah. Our aim is to build a media empire.
Yeah. Also, Brother Ibrahim, I'm encouraging. We're all encouraging. MashaAllah, because he has exited. He has built a business, exited. He can help so many people.
You guys are in the same problem, Sheikh. What comes easy to them is difficult for us.
Yeah.
No, you guys should start a podcast together.
Let's do it.
That was such an interesting podcast.
We can call it the contrarian view.
That would be a good podcast.
We're always on the opposite ends.
Contrarian commercials.
Yes, there we go.
MashaAllah.
No, but I genuinely mean that. Like, I think it would be a sick podcast.
No, it will be very sick.
Yeah, exactly.
Similar age group and similar wisdom, experience of life. But disagreeing on some,
different ends of the spectrum.
You're coming with the African experience. I'm coming with North American experience. I'm like pro technology. You're like pro hard assets. It'd be fun.
It'd be fun.
This will be very interesting podcast.
I think you should make that serious.
You should make it happen, inshallah.
Yeah.
Inshallah.
طيب, guys, with that said, man, gotta love you and leave you. And you guys know, man, the Cave podcast, this is where it happens. Ain't nothing like this on Allah's earth. Allah's father.
Allahu Akbar.
So make sure you subscribe. And make sure you come back next week.
Any spots left for the island?
No.
So when they're watching it, inshallah, like we're in the island, right? That's when it's getting
We're on the island right now. We are...
We're on the island right now.
We are literally... What? You know what? That's the
Inshallah,
intro.
inshallah,
Let me record the intro now.
Okay, go ahead,
Yeah,
Sheikh.
yeah.
Bismillah, we're done.
Anyway, so سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.